What up, though, One Pride? This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, a podcast where One Pride goes worldwide. My name is Anthony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined this evening by Ryan McCluskey, which can only mean one thing. It is time for your weekly dose of college knowledge. Yes, it is the college football podcast, Duck Duck Bear. And we, Ryan, are 3 weeks away from the NFL draft now. Technically just 2 weeks and 6 days, but we are nearly there. It's that time of year. I'm getting really excited. I don't know about you, but this is what we go through the whole year watching college for, watching these next guys come up to the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like the first draft in a long time where we don't know what the Lions are going to do. We've got a good amount of needs and a big amount of holes, and we're in no man's land. I don't know. I feel like they're going to do something crazy and they're going to really upset me. We've got the
Yeah,
chance to really piss me off.
yeah. I'm going down that road at the
I
minute.
don't feel comfortable where we are.
No, no, and I don't like the rumors I'm hearing about what they want to do where they are either. So we will see. But
Certain
yes,
players that would really
yeah,
draw something out on me if we took them.
yeah, yeah.
Big
It's.
blob like Kalen Proctor. I'd lose my shit at 17.
Yep, and that's the one who keeps
Furious.
getting mentioned. It's crazy. We're there, so that's coming up in a few weeks' time. So we've only got a few more shows before the draft happens. Today we're going to be focusing mainly on non-draft stuff. We're going to be on the collegiate stuff, but in the upcoming weeks we'll be doing our final mocks and our mock draft challenges we do. I picked the players we're going to do today, and it's going to be fun. We haven't got 20 running backs to try and predict where we're going to go to next year. So that's going to be fun. But today we have got a little bit of news to go through, transfer portal news, because the portal is never too far away from our hearts. We're going to take a look at some of the best returning defenders for next year. We've done quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends. The offensive line list have been done, but so have the D line. So we're going to do some defensive players today, and it is very heavily duck orientated, let's say. And then at the end, we are going to reveal our challenge teams. So it's been a little while, but for those of you who may have not watched the last show, we basically set ourselves a challenge to create ourselves what we call an all-time team. So we've got a team of 22 we need to put together, 11 off offense, 11 on defense, or it's 12 on each, I think. And we had this little random name generator for all the college football teams, and whichever it landed on for each position, we've had to go away and find the best player we possibly can at those positions to put together the best team, and then we'll pit them against one another and see what people think. And I'm going to get my ass kicked by Ryan. I know I am, but still, it's fun.
I'm
You,
confident in winning.
yeah, we get to dive through some colleges because it's quite fun to learn because we forget where a lot of these players come from college and
You
college
were
football
shocked by,
history.
like I said, some of these legends that came from
Exactly.
group of five schools. Like,
Exactly. So it's been quite fun and I've enjoyed it. We might do it like once or twice a season and keep on and see what happens. But yeah, so we got a lot to go through today. So you know all the housekeeping stuff, Roar of the Lions UK, Discord. If you want in on that, let us know. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're part of Lions Nation Unite as well, so don't forget to back that. You know all that. We're going to dive straight down into the news today and this came across earlier, which I wanted to quickly discuss. So, this is in regards to the transfer portal. So, obviously, we know the transfer portal in the era of NIL is, we all presumed it was going to open gaps even further than what they are now in terms of the conferences and in terms of being able to hoard talent and where that talent is going. And CBS dug down into the data of the transfer portal this year to take a look specifically at all the returning all conference players from last year. So everyone who made a first or second team all conference side in regards to how many of them are returning this year, how many went into the portal, and where they ended up. And it shows a drastic change of talent, especially from the group of six to the power four, but specifically a gap in the power four itself as well. So just going down into this, basically um, the overall analysis from this. So coming back this year, there are 114 players who were part of group of six teams last year who earned first or second team all conference honors. So yeah, 114 are returning. Only 29.5% of those players remain with the team that they played for in 2025. So basically, of the 81 players who transferred out of those 114, 73 of them have ended up at Power 4 schools, so a retention rate of less than 30%. Compare that with the Power 4, 75% of their returners from all conference first and second teams, 75% of those are going back to the teams that they took part with in 2025 as opposed to the less than 30 from the group of six. So basically means the group of six is more than 2.5 times likely to lose their transfer to a Power 4 school as like say a lower Power 4 school is to a bigger one. And the difference gets even bigger when you get to first team selections. So only 25% of first team all conference players from the group of six are coming back to the team they played for last year, whether it's 82% in the Power 4. Obviously, with the money that is in there, this stuff is crazy. However, there's a gap beginning to emerge in the Power 4 as well. So when you look at the retention of teams from the ACC and the Big 12 compared to the Big 10 and the SEC, the ACC and the Big 12 are only retaining just less than 57% of their all conference players. So hemorrhaging nearly two in every five all conference players they are losing. The Big Ten and the SEC, their retention rate is 97.4%. Basically, one player left the Big Ten and the SEC this year who was an all conference player, and I believe that was Damon Wilson, who got poached by Miami from Missouri. But I mean, these are stark numbers, right? I know, talent has always been an exodus, the group of five to Power Five and that, but in the age of NAIL now, money, we are starting to see probably what we feared in the group of six teams have basically got a 1 in 4 chance of retaining their all conference players in the age of NAL. Now, you're not really going to get them back, and even if you do, you're going to have to create a whole bunch of new ones. But we're starting to see the money work in the Power 4 ranks as well to the SEC and the Big 12. The ACC and the Big 12 are also struggling to maintain their talent, which is also quite surprising for these guys going on up. But maybe something that we were expecting, and it seems to be coming true now.
Yeah, I mean, sad fact is it doesn't surprise me. You're going to see more and more players, like say, spend 1 year at a college and then they're going to jump straight away. Like the moment they go to a FCS lower G5 program, put up 1,000 yard receiving season, 1,000 yard receiving, and they get that minuscule offer of like say a sponsorship and advertisement deal, like say they're going to jump straight away. And they're not even jumping into starting roles. They're jumping into like you're like wide receiver four, wide receiver five on my roster. Like long term, their aspirations, it's gonna hurt them. Like I say, you're chasing the nickel now. Like I say, if you don't see the field going towards, like say, those later years towards your draft eligibility, you'll be long forgotten. I think better off you're probably staying off where you are. Like say, yes, you learn less money, but if you're getting more exposure, more playing time, more chance to stack yardage, like say, you're better off in the long run. So it feels like a college career now is so short where you've got to maximize the potential earnings where the window every year, so you're going to see guys just changing year to year to year on what their earnings are potentially and who can offer them the best sponsorship. So retention now of the best players is going to be, like I say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's going to be really difficult.
Yeah, it is. And, it just goes to show the problem a lot of these teams are going to have in keeping this talent round. But obviously, we've seen in draft circles, these players get buried on depth charts. They struggle when they move up there. You wondered if they kind of might be a move where players like, nah, I'm gonna stick and I'm gonna take not take the money right now and hope my draft stock goes up. But certainly for this year, anyhow, it's not been the case in terms of the conferences worst affected. The American is the worst, given it's one of the best group of five conferences. Not surprising, but 23 all conference players are returning this year. 18 of them transferred. That's 78% there in the MAC. 18 of 24 left, which is 75% in the CUSA. 22 of the 30, which is 73%, are gone in the Sun Belt. It's 13 of 18, which is 72%. Those four have been absolutely drained. The only power conference that really held its own was the Mountain West. That's returning 10 of 20, which is a straight up 50% there. But then you get down into the power conferences and the Big 12. 10 of 23 players have left, jumped ship. That's 43.5%. In the ACC, it's 6 of 14, which is 43%. And then you get to the SEC and Big Ten, which combined 38 players returning, just one is gone. But I mean, again, right, not surprisingly, the American uber competitive last year, a lot of good teams. Not probably surprising to see that one rinsed. The Mountain West probably doing the best with its retention right now. Obviously, there are a lot of bigger teams in there which have got a bit more money, but it's easy to see why guys like in the MAC and the CUSA, there's just no chance of creating a playoff foundation because they just can't keep these good players. They've got to keep trying to reload every single go.
No. I love the Mac. I like watching the Mac, but if I was a player, why would I stay in the Mac? There's nothing to draw you there. The weather's cold, the money's low. I mean, they play like say they got Max and they got a Thursday, but the viewership is low as well. Like say the TV rights just ain't getting the deals. Like say the championship game is played like say go Ford Field, but it feels like the crowd's half empty. Like say you just ask yourself all these questions like say, why am I here? Whereas I can go be a rotational player in a power four, earn a bit of money. It's very hard now to like say these teams to keep their starters when they do shine the spotlight because the temptation is already there. Like say guys are whispering in their ear, like say we've got a spot for you, could earn you a bit of money. NIL's kind of changed the whole landscape of college football. If you can go earn let's say a couple 100,000, whereas you're going to go as a total UDFA in the draft coming out of a G4 school, you make the move. Like I say, you make the money now to like say lessen the blow later when you don't get drafted. A lot of these guys are thinking in business decisions right now, not about football. So it's hard to blame them really. So I'd be thinking the same kind of wavelength if I was them.
Yeah, exactly. And, transfers are having big impacts on teams. Out of the 241 all conference selections in the group of six last year, 48% of them were transfers. So obviously, Group of Five are doing the same to the FCS as well. They are sort of poaching their best players, bringing them up, and they're part of it. It just shows that you can't just build it through your recruited anymore. Transfers are becoming ever more part of the game. And it's only 40% at the Power Four level. But yeah, over 40% in both categories for transfers is a lot. Just goes to show the nature of the game and how it is changing. So that, yeah, just a little update on the portal and what is going on there in regards to all conference players. And then the other little bit of news to fill in, obviously. FBS has had a few new additions the last couple of years, which has drained the FCS of some of its better talent. But they made a big coup this week. The UAC, the United Athletic Conference, has poached West Florida, Ryan. We have a Florida power coming up to the FCS now, a pretty big one as well. Put up a lot of talent into the FBS the last couple of years, no more so than I think it's Marcus Stokes, the quarterback who's come up to Memphis this year, one of the most prolific players in all of Division Two. But obviously, Florida, hotbed of talent recruiting. West Florida have been a big team amongst that, and we wondered which one would come up next. Them, Ferris State, guys like that, who's coming up. But West Florida make the jump, and you figure they're probably going to enjoy life in the FCS the way that they recruit and send talent out there.
Yeah, like I said, this is huge. So I read somewhere this is the first Florida team to go up to Division One since 2013-14 when FIU went to the FBS. There's been no Florida team in the FCS, like I say, in 13 years. And that's huge. That's kind of when you think about it, that's a big market that has had like a big gaping black hole. Like I say, I saw a video YouTube of day, like say, like they've got a big program. They've just got new facilities. They've trained on their grading ground. They've increased the capacity of their stadium. They've had players like say Marcus Stokes, QB. Like say they got cool name the Argonauts. They've got one of the best uniforms in the FCS. It's a team right now that is primed to make a jump very quickly. They've bided their time. They've built their finances. They've got a good team in a great location, right next to the like say the water and the swamp there. Their facilities are really good for an FCS team. And like I say, they're primed to like say maybe the only FCS D1 Florida team right now to potentially make a jump. Like I say, there's a gap in the market, they've decided to fill it, and I'm all for it. I'll be rooting for the Argos straight away because it's a big step for them straight away. Like I said, operating costs at D2 are rumored to be like 4.5 million. Operating costs at the FCS D1 level are rumored to be like 15 million. So there's a big gap in finances. It's going to cost them a lot of money. But if they can be competitive in a couple of years, they should make that money back. So yeah, it's good to see finally, like I say, a course team, like I say, make the jump and fill a void. I'm looking towards watching the Argos, what they can do in a conference that is, yeah, it's there to be like, say, taken off. Like, it's not a big power conference. There is a gap, like, say, a power shift that they could take hold straight away. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do straight away. I'm interested to see how they do, but yeah, there's a lot of teams, right, say, in Florida and D2 that should be looking to make a jump. There's a big gap in the market right now.
Exactly. And like you say, you got some good fixtures. You got, I think, Abilene Christians in there, Tarleton
The
State's in
whole thing's
there.
getting shifted. It's
You've
going to be
got
so competitive.
Yeah, and you've had a lot of guys make the jump from there, like Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, Sam Houston, all have come out the UAC up to the FBS. So it's a potential stepping stone for the future as well if they feel they're doing well enough.
Help the
So
portal as well, like I say, because Florida is a huge state. A lot
mm,
of players now be like, I don't want to go to D2 school, but I don't want to go to an FCS school. Do you know what I might? So those guys that don't make it, like say at USF, at Florida State, at Florida, West Florida now, it's an option. They've got the funding. They'll make their money back in a couple of years.
and it's a viable career path for those Florida players to move to bigger programs as well. So they could be a big stepping stone there. A lot of good programs in that area. So yeah. West Florida, the Argonauts come into the FCS. I believe that move is as of next year as well. So, or this year, sorry, I keep getting to 2026. So, yeah, new team there in the FCS. Right, let us move it on. And we're going to go into returning players for 2026 in college football. Obviously, everything's about draft, draft, draft right now, but we're trying to put some names out there for next year. So we've been going through PFF's lists. They've been doing grading some of the better starters returning. We've done quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. We've given a lot of love to the offensive positions. The O-line ones are out, but so are the D-line ones. And, I love talking about some good defensive linemen. So we're going to look at the DTs and DNs coming back this year. Names to watch out for going forward. So we're going to start. Ooh, let's start with the defensive tackles. Either which way, other one team has all four of its returning starters on these two lists this year. So quite obviously, one defensive line rules them all going forward. But we're going to look at the defensive tackles first. The honorable mention is given to Mateen Iberogba, Texas Tech. One of the latest splash signings by them, the Wake Forest transfer is coming in, and his running mate is on this list as well, and he's quite high up it. But yeah, Iberogba is the honourable mention. But starting off, number 10 on this list, a former huge five-star recruit who lost his way at the start of his career and didn't look like much was going to come of it, but enjoyed a big bounce back year last year. He is the Bear, he's the Grizzly, he's up in the Northwest. We've got Bear Alexander. out of Oregon, initially five-star recruit from Georgia, then went to USC for a couple of years, and then last year settled in Oregon on one of the better defensive lines in the game. And, it's his run defense he's there for. 31 defensive stops last year, tied for eighth in the FBS. He was top 20 in terms of the WAR metric from PFF. Really explosive off the line of scrimmage. Absolutely love watching him play. Couple of forced fumbles, bad pass on the resume there as well, right? But a lot was expected of Bear when he first came up to college, and it's fair to say he kind of disappointed and has been waiting for his opportunity. But last year we kind of saw the stud that we were expecting, and given the entire defensive line for Oregon is returning this year, this feels like it could be potentially a start of something special for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's been somewhat yeah, he's been a perennial underwhelmer. Like I say, came into college, high school with, like say, the famous name, the high star recruiting. Like I say, he's been at big programs, but so far he has underwhelmed. Like I say, he's already in his third school. Like I say, and he ain't big schools either. Like I say, he's been at, like I say, powerhouses, but he's yet to work his way into the serious rotation. Started at Georgia, like I say, where he was a limited guy, made the most of it. USC, he firmly underwhelmed. Like I say, he fell out of rotation very quickly. And then, like I say, Oregon, like I say, last year, chipped in, did his best. Like I said, a good season. Like I say, it feels like now, if he's got any hope of making it pro, it's got to be the time right now where he kicks in. Like I say, and he really does need to prove that he can be a force on the interior and work his way into a pass rush mentality. Because we know the guy can stop the run. Like I say, he's proved, like I say, that he's a big physical impact that, like I say, can shed blocks. It's the weight, the height, the physical tools. Can he really be an impact in, like say, hurrying the quarterback, getting those pressures and working forward? So for him, it's a make or break year to prove that he'll ever live up to the hype, or he will just fizzle out and be lost to the doldrums of college football history.
Yeah, he'll be in next year's draft, so you're gonna get no better opportunity than this to come back, especially with an entire line that has returned. So Bear Alexander sits up there at number 10. At number 9, we're going to Kentucky and their really intriguing redshirt sophomore. He'll be a redshirt junior, sorry, this year. Tavian Gadsden. And this man is huge. He's 6'5", just a smidge over 300 pounds. Didn't really play his first 2 years, had a knee injury, which bothered him and didn't allow him to get in the lineup. But he made it into the team last year as a starter. Sported a 17% pass rush win rate, which led every defensive tackle in the Power Four. And his pass rush grade overall was fifth out of all defensive tackles. He's good against the run as well. 15 stops last year. He had 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, forced fumble in there as well on what was not the best Kentucky team in the world, but he shone in the middle, Ryan. If there's one thing we know, Kentucky do the defensive line very well, and this guy at his size and his speed just showed a little taste of what he's all about, and potentially looking at one of the next big prospects coming out of that Kentucky line, especially now Booster is gone.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable build at 6'5" of 300. Like you say, he's tall, he's heavy, he's stout. But like I say, he's shown a good level of physicality. Like I say, he had a good year last year as a rotational piece. Like I say, he chipped in where possible, hurrying the quarterback, got to the quarterback, did a good job in the SEC. But now he needs to hit the next level as a veteran, like I say, where you'll be a junior, like I say, as a guy that he can't use that naivety of being young, been in the program a few years now, needs to know scheme, needs to, like I say, take that next step going forward and show that he can generate pressure at a good, consistent rate. But the sky's the ceiling for him. Like I say, Deontay Walker in recent years, like I say, that absolute behemoth DT that, like I say, garnered a lot of pressure and interest in the interior tackle. Gadsden's maybe heavier, maybe more anchor face, like I say, going forward, but he needs to prove he can operate and do it with success in such a same scheme. So yeah, big chance for him to make a case for himself and a big name coming out, like I say, D-line that's returning. like I say, maximise the guys that are winning the outside and needs to show a chance like it can mop up where it needs to be and put a bit in more numbers under his belt.
Indeed. And as I say, pass rushing DTs becoming a premium in the NFL now. Just look at Grayson Holton this year. So if you can do that, then your draft stock will go through the roof. But Tavian Gadsden of Kentucky sits there at 9. At 8, we've got the start of the second team who sport a tandem in this top 10. You got Justin Scott out of the Miami Hurricanes, another one of these like super five-star guys that they just bring in all the time. Another big man. He is 6'4", 310 pounds. He moves like a 180-pound cornerback. His size is insane. Saw a little bit of time as a true freshman. Got his big breakout last year as a redshirt sophomore. Sixth most valuable WAR amongst interior power four defenders, 22 defensive stops, graded 70 as both a run defender and a pass rusher. 2 sacks, 19 quarterback pressures, batted pass, forced fumble, 30 tackles, just a 13% missed tackle rate. Not too bad for him, but another kind of like Gadsden here, right? Another who's just dipped his toe in last year, first year really as a starter, but with these five-star Miami guys, Mawagoa, Fletcher, Bain, they've all eventually got to where they are. And now in the middle with his partner, who's also on this list, this is probably one of the most fearsome DT tackles pairings you're going to come up against all season. Miami are not going to be easy to run on with him as one part of this duo.
No, had a great sophomore year, like you say, 6.5 tackles for loss, a sack. Like you say, started 9 of the like say 15 games he played. It was a good rotational piece as a true sophomore coming out of high school. A good build. And now, like you say, Messi Ador's gone, Bain's gone. They have to replace those edges, which means they may rely more on their interior this year to kind of say generate some pressure, pick up some of the slack. It's a good chance for him to show that despite last year not being able to, like say, get to the quarterback consistently was one of his repertoires, that he's able to this year maybe show that on the interior he's able to win inside and go forwards here. It's a big year for the Miami D line in general, losing two of the top players in the nation, where other guys have to pick up the slack. And like I say, some of the younger guys will have to show their forces. So it'll be interesting to see how Scott does. But yeah, 6'4", 300 pounds. He's got the build. Comes from, like I say, a good high school where he's got a bit of a reputation behind him. So it'll be easier. If Miami could go back to back, it's going to be relying on guys like this to pick up the slack going where the edge players have left off.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks so good. I'm looking forward to seeing those two there this year. So Justin Scott of Miami there at number 8 on returning defensive tackles. At number 7, one of my favorite guys on this list because he comes from a system I just love and adore, but he is a transfer this year. We've got Francis Breu of Notre Dame this year, but he's transferring in from Pittsburgh, where he's been an absolute monster these last 2 years, especially against the run. And he's also in that mold of Pittsburgh DTs who are not very big. He's 6'2" and 280 pounds. But when you've had guys like Aaron Donald and Kalijah Kancey come out that system into the NFL and make it look easy, these guys are productive. They're very well trained. They're explosive and they're dangerous. He's played nearly 800 snaps over his last 2 years, 4 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 31 QB pressure, so he can get good pressure from the interior, 26 defensive stops, forced fumble on the books as well. But we know these guys, right? They are some of the best defensive tackles made in all of college football in Pittsburgh. And you send it into Notre Dame, which, if anything, specializes with its DTs as well, particularly guys who ain't maybe the biggest, guys like Riley Mills and stuff like that who've succeeded in recent years. You would think I would expect him to have a very special year there, the way he plays and the way that Notre Dame defensive line is. And I think he's probably going to be a lot higher than 7 when this season's done.
Yeah. I say it's funny that Pittsburgh likes to bring in guys that are considered undersized for position. And but I mean, the defensive coordinators and the coaching staff at, like, say, the Panthers in recent years have managed to do wonders with guys that were always considered as outsiders at the position or like were not fit for purpose. And this guy Brink coming in here doesn't make it makes sense completely. like I say, they're going to offer him that chance to, despite being what a somewhat a lighter, shorter defensive tackle on the inside, put him in put opportunities, put him in a scheme where he's able to potentially, like say, get those one-on-one pass rushes, or able to get pressures and hurries on the quarterback and produce on a big year for him. Like I say, ACC has been a great defensive line powerhouse in recent years. As a guy that coming in at the right time, like I say, the Panthers are on the up. Like I say, they found a young quarterback. It's a team that's going to be expected to compete, and he's going to be looking to build on, like I say, all memorable, all ACC 25 mentions. So for him, the sky's the limit right now. Like I say, he's lighter, he's smaller, and I'm hoping he's able to use that potential agility to his advantage and put up some good numbers this year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him. You've got Francis Brew there at Notre Dame. I think the kid's going to have an absolutely fantastic season. But just at number seven, but you keep an eye on that name because it is going to keep going up at six. One half of my favorite DT pairing in all of college football, and I'm shocked his teammate isn't on this list. But at six, we've got Tyreek Tucker of Indiana, one of the reigning championship Hoosiers, and he is again another one of these Signetti stalwarts who started at James Madison, came to Indiana with Signetti, and has just taken to the Power Four like a duck to water. And he is truly special. He's 6 foot 302 pounds, so maybe a little undersized again, but man. You wouldn't know it. With Mario Landino in tow, he's been one of the best guys going. He kind of plays a mixture of nose and three tech, but he is the best run defender of all these 10, period, and the grades say the same as well. But the thing is, he's also a devastating pass rusher. 7 sacks last year was tied for the most in the Power Four amongst defensive tackles. He graded over 86 against the run, and him and Mario Landino just made life an absolute nightmare for any team trying to run on them. They are pocket collapsers, they are quarterback getters, and they stop the run game first and foremost in his tracks. I love him. Again, Ryan, another one who is undersized, but started in the group of five, came up to the power four, and that Indiana D line was the best in the league last year, and it was because of their two defensive tackles. He is one half of it, but pass rush and run defense, finding both in one package is rare, and he is one of the best.
Yeah, like I say, he's short, he's very stout, but say last year he showed an incredible knack for getting to the quarterback and finishing. Like I say, one of the best players on the team at, like I say, that pass rush win rate and converting that into sacks was an integral part of defensive lineman up the interior. This year is going to have a big role to play on a team that has now got a big target on its back. He's come through the ranks of G5 up to, like say, now Power 4 national champion. So for him, all eyes are going to be on him. He's got a great chance to win on the interior and show that his pass rush and like I say his run defense are capable of like say pro potential. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does this year. Like I say, following up from last year, if he can follow up or put together a good season that can at least match his stack statistics. But either way, he's shown that he's capable of winning on the interior, shedding blocks, and generating pressure from the inside to outside. So he's a great athlete, and I don't think anyone should underestimate his overall size and height and reach. Like I say, the weight's there, but the measurables are. People try to use that against him, but he's proven that that's not going to hold him back going forward.
No, absolutely not. They're going to have one of the best D tackle pairings again, and especially when it comes to getting quarterback. Him and Landino both had 7 or 8 sacks last year between. I think they joined together, so watch out for them closely. The Hoosiers are not going anywhere, specifically on defense. Right, heading into the top five, and we've got the second half of the Miami pairing. We've got Ahmed Moten Sr. Now, he is a big boy. He is 6'3", 324 pounds, kind of built almost identical to what Aleem McNeil is, but he broke out big time for Miami last year. First 3 years were nothing special really whatsoever. He broke the rotation in 24. Last year, 4 sacks, 27 quarterback pressures, 30 tackles, 19 run stops, exactly when they needed him the most. Another sports, a pass rush win rate of 11%, which was top 15 in the Power Four. He was fourth when it came to the WAR metric in terms of how valuable he is to his team. And of course, that interior is going to be massive for them this year if they want to try and get back to the championship game, right? But this is a big, beefy man, but he does play in the style of a Lee McNeil. He's got that pass rush that you don't expect from a guy his size. He's really sneaky about it, and after a bit of a slow start, he's got hot, and this is could potentially be even better year for him.
Yeah, like you say, as the guy I'm with you. He's shorter, he's stockier, he's beefier. He brings the force. He's a physical impact on the interior. He's shown last year, like you say, that he's got the agility, he's got the mobility to able to win up the middle and then pursue quarterbacks and got the finishing rate. So he's shown those flashes where he's able to actually finish plays and make splash plays to his gear. Not get the guy that's just able to potentially win up and stop the run. He's more of a nuanced athlete in that aspect. 6'3", around 300. Like I say, he's got a good build. He's tall. He's well built. He's built a strong partnership on that interior. For the Hurricanes, they're going to rely on it heavily this year. We now say two new starting defensive ends. Going to look on their interior to potentially help them cause pressure. At nearly 22 years of old, his experience, he's been around the block a while. He's willing his trade there right now, and hopefully he's going to put it all together this year to have a big year and head towards the 2026-7 NFL draft. So yeah, should be a big name to watch this year. He's gonna be expected to leaned on as a veteran presence on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. Ahmed Moten, senior of Miami, coming in at five. Getting into the top four, we've got the second half of the Oregon tandem here. A Maori Washington, who a lot of people expected to go to the draft this year, but he chose not to. He's going back to try and get his stock up one more. Last season was a junior. It was his breakout year last year. Not much beforehand. Kind of him and Bear came up in tandem last year, but he had a hell of a season. He's 6'3", 330 pounds, another big guy, athletically freakish. He can run over 17 miles per hour at 330 pounds, which is crazy. Probably going to be on Feldman's Freaks when all is said and done. But last year, the run defense graded up at 84. It's what he is in there for. But 22 quarterback pressures belie an ability to get to the quarterback again. People don't think 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, 18 hurries, nearly 40 tackles, 24 run stops. But one of the more amazing stats about him, 8 battered passes at the line of scrimmage. No one got that many on the defensive line last year from tackle. He's one of those who, if he can't get to the quarterback and if he can't stop the run, he's going to get those big bear paws up in the air and bat them down. The only thing he's got against him, 22% missed tackle rate over his career, which needs to come on down. But, you know, when it comes to DTs, right, athletic freaks are always highly looked upon. And, he's making plays against the QB, specifically against the run, but in the air as well as a pass protector. 8 batted passes. Crazy for a D lineman. Those are rare.
Yeah, this kid knows all about his body, knows how to use the size. A Detroit, Michigan native, so someone to watch going forward. But yeah, he understands when to hustle ass, get off the QB, but like I say when bail and get in the passing lanes. The batted passes for me off really make me happy. Do you understand when, like I say, to just give up on the cause, get in the way, be a nuisance, and use their body well? Like I say, long arms, big hands, good. Like I say, you expect them to do well in the high jump. Like I say, they should put good numbers up. They're explosive. Their bottom half's good. Like I say, good. He did a good job, like I say, got picked him with a couple of sacks, but generally his run defense, good for the most part. Needs to work on missed tackle rate, bring that down a bit, but in general, being a nuisance, very good. Should see another big workload for the Ducks defense on that interior, like I said, but good all-round faceted defensive tackle that understands, like I say, dropping into coverage, when to use the big frame, when to use the big body. And I say if it brings down the missed tackle rate, then should head into 2027 with a good amount of admiration.
Absolutely, he should. Amari Washington is going to eat on that Oregon defensive line. You get a few more sacks in there, then the sky is the limit for him. Moving into the top three, though, and we're getting into some of the big guys now. At number three, we've got one part of that fearsome Oklahoma defensive line from the last year. We've got David Stone. 2 years ago, he was the highest rated defensive tackle prospect coming out of high school. Super five-star. The recruiting battle for him was massive. The Sooners got him, and that Sooners defensive line last year, probably after Indiana, one of the best in the nation. Him and Grayson Halton just absolutely wrecked everything after he had a quiet freshman year, but he racked up 450 snaps last year, 26 quarterback pressures, I say 6'3", 310, couple of sacks, 4 QB hits, again nearly 40 tackles, 27 run stops for him. Just basically overall, the 27 stops was seventh in the Power Four amongst DTs. 26 pressures was tied for 15th. Um, he is right. A lot of things were said about him coming out of high school, and I know people were really looking forward to it. And learned his way in, spent a year doing special teams bits like that. Broke out in the biggest way possible last year. Him and Grayson Halton were just completely unplayable, and part of the reason that Oklahoma team made the playoffs was that defensive line. He is looking every bit as good as advertised, and you would expect him to take another step forward this year, especially with Halton now coming to the NFL. It's his show.
Yeah, like I say, not. It feels like I said that the Sooners were slept on for most of the year. Got to the playoffs, like I said, didn't get a lot of love, but the kid's only 20, a true sophomore, good junior. Like I said, the guy came out of high school with a big reputation. Like I said, 6'4", 280, got a fantastic build for an interior pass rusher. He's light enough to, like I say, be in the pursuit, and like I say, chase after. He's tall enough, long enough to win, like I say, when he needs to be. So I'm with you that the sky is the limit for this guy this year. Like I say, some of the guys on D line have left. Like I say, the baton will be passed to him, a big high school recruit now that showed good abilities as a true sophomore, should take on the mantle this year going forward, as I say, on a star defensive line in the ACC. And I'm rooting for him. Like I say, chipped him a couple of sacks last year. I think he's going to put up some really big numbers this year. I think he's going to be leaned upon. He's going to be looked to a guy that is going to have to produce for a Sooners team that wants to get back to back and repeat. And if that's going to happen, those integral guys now that have gone from young men to veterans that are looked upon with, like say, a bit of respect and a bit of expectation, he's going to be one of them.
Exactly, he is. I'm looking forward to seeing David Stone this year. Number three out of Oklahoma. And then getting into the top two. At number two, I mean, what would defensive line lists be without Old Miss, right? You wouldn't get a list without having one of these guys in. It's one of the things they do best. And at number two, we've got the 19-year-old Will Eccles, a touted four-star recruit from the 2024 class. But he was listed as an interior offensive lineman when he came out of high school, and they flipped him. And his first year last year didn't see much action. 121 snaps. Last year, he played nearly 800. His run defense is some of the best in the nation, graded at 84, but he led the Power Four in pressures against the quarterback with 39 and defensive stops with 35. He had six battered passes, second in the nation only to a Maori Washington, and only number one on this list was more valuable in the entire country to him is another. He's 6'3", 310 pounds. Missed tackle rate of just 12% in his career. Right, for a guy who they flipped from the offensive line to the defensive line just 2 years ago, he's already one of the best, maybe the best defensive tackle in the nation. The numbers he's put up are insane. It just goes to show the job old Mess do with these defensive linemen. But Will Eccles, if that was the taste we got last year, then Lord knows what the main course could be this year.
Yeah. Says a lot to Pete Golden, now head coach, former defensive coordinator, brings in, like I say, this 19-year-old. They have discussions of like, do you want to go from guard to DT? 6'3", 315, got an incredible build. As you say, won't be 20 till August when the season starts. Incredibly young man. Like I say, so athletic. He is a real force to reckon with on the interior. He's filling a hold that Walter Nolan is now leaving as their kind of, like I say, mischief maker on the inside of DT. Like I say, they need a guy to come in, step in straight away. Like I say, incredible year, 5 sacks. A guy that is learning that new side of the position. He's using learning to work his body, shed blocks, be great in a run force. His DC's now the head coach. It's going to probably look at him like, I need you to be the anchor. He's going to have to be the guy that's going to have to lead from the front as an incredibly young 20-year-old going forward. I think this is a perfect position to be in. I like the hire. I like the staff they've got. I think Ole Miss can be better. Maybe now Kiffin's gone. And this is going to be a guy that's going to benefit from, like I say, real guidance from Pete. Like I say, the staff they've got there right now. Like I say, if he could put together another 5, 6 sack year, like I say, and like I say, he's really good in the run game. He's going to be a real name to watch going forward. Like I say, a young man with a very strong future going in potential.
Absolutely, he is. As I say, sky's the limit for someone who's just changed the position. Will Eccles, potentially one of the most exciting players you will see. So we will see there. And then moving up to number one, you would think that losing a talent like Lee Hunter off your team would mean that you don't have very one very high up your list here, but Texas Tech have no problem with securing big recruits, and this is actually, well, not one of their own, but he was there with them last year. You have the Houston transfer A.J. Holmes at number one. He was the guy next to Lee Hunter after Sky Giller Howard went down injured. Most important player to their team via the WAR metric last year. His run defensive grade 89. He is 6'3", 300 pounds. Another one of these big bodied guys who loves to stop the run. Try and run on AJ Holmes and Lee Hunter. Not many teams could, but not only that, mixes in with 37 quarterback pressures, including half a dozen sacks. He's got a forced fumble to his name, 4 battered passes as well. The pressures was the second most in the Power Four. He was a nuisance at Houston before this. Had 6 sacks in the previous 2 years with them. This is going to be his senior year. His modus operandi, and obviously with Bailey gone, with Romello Height gone, with Lee Hunter gone. He is the lone returning starter here. I don't think Skylar Gill Howard had any eligibility left either, right? This is front and center. He's gonna be the man here, but I mean, probably even better than what Lee Hunter did last year. And Lee Hunter is absolutely devastating. AJ Holmes, he's going to be the fight in front of this Red Raiders team this year. A lot is going to come down on him, but if he performs like that again, then he's going to stand out like a sore thumb.
I mean, sometimes it's just like situation, scenario, new destination, it all just aligns, the stars align. As you say, the big names are gone. The oil money on the D line, like you say, they've got, like say, 5-star freshman that coming in, but this guy now is going to be looked upon as the next heir apparent to fill in straight away, bank on a great 2025. Like I say, he was a good piece at Houston. He came in late in the Red Raiders season and made a serious impact, especially in pass rush. But now it's like, can you do it from snap one in week one? Can you be a guy we can lean upon to lead our force going forward where they want to win a national title? They've only got aspirations for gold. They ain't playing for bronze or silver. Like I say, AJ Holmes, like I say, good Houston, good year. Like I say, that small sample size, can we spread that out over a whole year? He's big enough, he's physical enough, he's strong enough. And now, like I say, the world's going to be his oyster. He's going to get the snaps, he's going to get the looks. It's going to be a lot harder for him because offensive lines are going to be like, we need to watch out for this guy now. There's going to be a lot more attention faced on him. But if he proves that when that extra heat comes on him from the offensive line, that it can still, like I say, generate, he can still get the pressure, still get the sacks. Yeah, we're talking about another, like say, top 100, top 150 draft pick in a year's time. So he's got a chance to make a huge name for himself in the biggest year possible. Like I said, the Red Raiders, huge year for them. Big talent is leaving, heading, like I say, can they reload? Were they like say, a one chance thing, or can they do it again? We're gonna find out. And AJ Holmes is gonna be the guy to try to get them prove that they weren't a shot in the dark.
Exactly, and he's got Martin Ibarogba next to him this year, the Wake Forest transfer. He's the honourable mention here. So Texas Tech, another sporting a formidable defensive tackle pairing. So you're returning D tackles from 10 through 1. You got Bear Alexander of Oregon, Tavian Gadsden of Kentucky, Justin Scott of Miami, Francis Brewer of Notre Dame, Tyreek Tucker of Indiana, Ahmed Moten Sr. of Miami, Amaury Washington of Oregon, David Stone of Oklahoma, Will Eccles of Ole Miss, and AJ Holmes of Texas Tech. I mean, all I'll say about that, right, is if these guys perform as they should, then Christ, next year's defensive tackle class could be one of the best in years if a lot of these guys come to the draft.
Especially in, let's say, if you're looking for a DT that can win on the interior. A lot of these guys, let's say, good in, like say, run defense and shedding blocks, but a lot of them excel in pass rush. Like I say, are they able to win in the middle? Can they finish? And also, can they pursue a quarterback? A lot of these guys they're lighter, they're stronger, but they're not as heavy, they're not as tall. Like I say, they don't have as far to travel. So yeah, it's a new breed.
It is indeed right, and then we'll move it on to the edge players. So we've done the D tackles. Now let's look at some of the more prolific quarterback hunters off the edge coming back this year. The honorable mention goes to Boubacar Traore of Notre Dame. The redshirt sophomore had a big breakout last year, 10 sacks for him, and he's got a big new partner with Brew on that defensive line, so that could be a big help there for him. But moving in to the top 10 and starting at number 10, and I think you will probably kick back on him being so low here, right? But we've got Prince Will Uman Malin of LSU. It's his third school in 3 years. He was at Nebraska in 24, at Ole Miss in 25, and he is one of those traitorous so-and-sos who has followed Lane Kiffin to Baton Rouge, but he is built like a specimen. 6'5", 245 pounds. 11 sacks for him last year, 51 quarterback pressures, 33 tackles, an interception as well for his trouble. Pretty decent run defender as it's well, but his brother went through the hype a couple of years ago and didn't quite live up to it. But Princewell, right, he's going to the most let's say a controversial program this year with a controversial head coach who have got a point to prove to the world and are trying to stick it to them. And Princewell, he's certainly got the stage to shine here.
Yep. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Prince Will is a better pro prospect than Prinsley's brother. Like I say, because I think his pass rush technique is better. Like I say, it was harnessed at Nebraska. It was never lived up to. Like I say, the Cornhuskers never get him to be. Came in at Ole Miss. Like I say, it's a one-time thing. Had a fantastic year. He may regret leaving. Like I say, I don't know about transfer to LSU and all the guys leaving. I think Pete Goldham is a great choice to promote to the permanent head coach. Like I say, put him in good positions last year. Great 11 sacks, as you say, fantastic build, long, length. Like I say, good in the run game, good finisher. Yes, he's got the chance to make himself a household name this year. If he goes out and puts double-digit sacks again, then 2026 onwards, we're talking about him as a good draft pick. But yeah, I think this is a big time. Good get for LSU. LSU, their D line depleted. It's lost guys like Perkins. It's lost guys like is it Jack? Is it Pyben Pinham? I can never pronounce.
Eben.
Yeah, like I say, it's losing guys, like I say, so he sees an opportunity as a starting role straight away, and I don't blame him for making the move. Has got the chance straight away to hurt his former team and the SEC straight away. So yeah, big chance. I'm surprised to see him at 10. Like I said, some of you, he can make an instant impact straight away on an LSU D line that is going to see some. Like I said, half the front seven's gone. Like I said, the Weeks guys are gone. Pittman's gone. Perkins is gone. Like I said, looking straight away at you, man, Mylan, to be like, we need you to bring a spark straight away, buddy.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. He's
He
going to
can
have to
really make
be.
an impact for himself. If he gets 13, 14 sacks, you're talking, where did Princely go? 60?
Yeah. Oh, he'd go a lot higher than 60.
Yeah, I think, like I say, you're talking top potential 50 draft pick straight away if he replicates that LSU.
Obviously, Princely fell because of there was the effort stuff on tape. You don't see it with Prince Will, do you? You feel like the effort's more there, so tape's better.
Better run defender as well, potentially too.
Yeah, absolutely. So Princewell Uman Malin comes in at 10, the LSU edge,
Any
third
more,
school.
brothers? I thought there's got to be another U-Man Milan coming through. We've seen three enter in recent years. There's got to be another somewhere.
There must be at some point. I've not come across him yet, but I mean, we will
He's
have a
still
look
there
for
in
that.
high
But
school. We'll find him.
yeah, it's got to be at Old Miss somewhere, or in that general vicinity. But yeah, Prince Walloon Malin at number 10, third school in 3 years.
Prince Andrew U-Man Milan.
Yeah. Oh God, Lord. Yeah. There we go. We've had a
Infamous already.
we've had a Princely, a Prince Will, and Prince Won't.
What's it
Do
going
we
to be
need
called?
Prince? We need Prince Won't now. Prince Will, Prince Won't. Dear. Anyhow, at number 9, we've got a second player who's on his third school in 3 years, and the only player in the Big Ten or SEC to be pried away from his team this year as an all-conference player. We got Damon Wilson the second, who after been a huge recruit for Georgia 3 years ago, didn't really get going there. He had a good sophomore year, moved to Missouri last year, and he just went nuts. 54 quarterback pressures, 8 sacks, 9 hits, 37 hurries, couple of batted passes. Also had an interception as well on the only target thrown at him all year. He is 6'4", 250 pounds. And he is one hell of a pass rusher, but he has been recruited elsewhere and at a school which has just lost Ruben Bain Jr. and Akeem Mesidor. He is off to the Miami of Florida Hurricanes, where he's got one of the best D tackle pairings in the country to work with, and he's going to be getting coached by Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, which is not a bad coach to have on your roster there, but not the greatest run defender in the world. Did great at 68 last year, but it is something he needs to improve on. But as a pure pass rusher, right, he was brought into Georgia for a reason and started to show that at Mizzou last year. And strange move going to the ACC when you are a starter in the SEC. But I guess if you get back to the championship game again, it could work for him. And he's joining one hell of a talented defensive line. But risky for him.
Mm, I get it. I like it. Like I say, the Hurricanes right now, they're top of the food chain. Like I said, some of the SEC sides, like I say, they just can't compete right now. Getting coached by, like I say, a Dolphins Hall of Famer in state, a guy that can help you with your, like I say, the mobility, the technique, the finishing. It just makes a lot of sense to me. Like I say, big holes left on the outside of that D line in Miami. Like I say, Messi dog gone, Bain gone. Wilson's thinking, I'm going to take everything I've learned at Georgia, Missouri. I'm going to come in for a monstrous, not let's say production, it's just numbers. I want to come here, I want to get like 12, 13 sacks. That's what he's thinking. Put myself on the national map, get the best coaching I can, like I say, and prove I can do it in multiple conferences, multiple courses. I like it. I think, like I say, if Dame Wilson does have a big year, like I say, Hurricanes have got a chance to and they're not going to get back to the national title game. I don't think they will. But if they can make the playoffs again in a weak ACC, I think Wilson will have got a long way to potentially cementing a spot in that. So yeah, like I said, I think he's just trying to go there, for, like I say, for the experience and the opportunity, and I don't blame him.
No, I do get it. And again, Miami, it's the place to go to get drafted right now. All their prospects are the hottest things on the list. So yeah, Damon Wilson transfer in at number 9, going to Miami at number 8. I love this guy. I love pure pass rushers, and he's also of a build the Lions like as well. So who knows? But that Clemson defensive line had some disappointments on it last year who were going to the draft this season. Didn't really expect what you thought of them, but The one who exceeded expectations was the transfer. They don't bring guys in very often through transfers. It's not something that Dabu Swinney likes to do. He made an exception in this guy's case, and what a hell of a season he had. It is the 6'6", 260-pounder Will Helt of Clemson, who is gonna have a lot on his plate this year, but also a wonderful stage to work on. The Purdue transfer for Clemson last year: 10 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 45 total hurries, 3 batted passes, forced fumble, 40 tackles with a sub 8% missed tackle rate. Not the best coverage guy in the world, but you don't need him to be. Graded 78 against the run as well. I mean, right, he comes out of that Purdue system, which, it teaches technique. It teaches you to get to the quarterback. You trust a Purdue guy coming out of that system. He went to Clemson and took to that system like a duck to water and was just consistently all year very good. Most of the sacks came in individual games. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 games he had sacks in. It wasn't stat padded in certain games, just a model of consistency when Peter Woods and TJ Parker maybe didn't deliver that consistency, but he was the one who benefited from it. And as pure pass rushers go, probably one of the best in the nation.
Yeah, he's got a big opportunity. I mean, we know we both love that transfer. We're like, this guy's he's tall, he's rangy, he's got length, he's got size, he can win on the outside, he's got good hand movement. Like I say, the technique's there. Not the best athlete, but like I say, wins nevertheless. Like I say, 6'6", 255. We love the Lions love and Bill like that. The guy can set the edge. Can the guy stop the run, set the edge, make players bounce outside, make guys, like I say, think twice, come on his way? Absolutely. Like I say, do the sacks come as well? They do. Like I say, this guy's the overall strong package about, like I say, run defense, which is good last year, great grades. Like I say, very few missed tackles, and then also is able to give pursuit, chase quarterbacks down from his side, like I say, a long rangy physical process. Great build. He's got the prototypical now range and like I said, build a guy wants a defensive end out in the NFL. He's got a chance now, let's say that lack of if he can do the same progression and build without that ferocious interior defensive tackle, and he builds gets it on his own and becomes the focal piece of that D line, the sky's the limit. You're talking like say a very high draft pick at his build, his experience, his size, his age. Like I say, so yeah, he's got a lot to like this year. Like I say, I'm hoping he's going to be the best defensive end in the ACC.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You would want him to be, but I'm so excited. If we're still looking for one next year, I would love Will Held on this team. I just love Purdue edges, and he's at Clemson doing the work there. Like he's going to be special. I am looking forward to seeing him, and maybe he should be a little higher. So at number 8, we've got Will Held of Clemson. At number 7, we have the outlier, the guy who should never be on a top edge list if you
On an edge
tried.
list? An
Yeah.
edge list?
Yeah, he is an edge, even at his size.
He's not, but
Yeah, well, we've got Suntarine Perkins of Old Miss, 6'2", 220 pounds, small in size, small in weight. But tell him that he will not listen to you. Over the last 2 years with Old Miss, he has been absolutely fearsome. 16 sacks, nearly 80 quarterback pressures, a batted pass, hundreds of tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. Now, we agree he might play a little bit of as an outside linebacker there, but 79 defensive stops since 2024. That is the second most amongst active edge players. Only Tatum Tuioti of the Oregon has more. 16 sacks is fourth most in the country. Like, this shouldn't even be a thing, right? Even at 6'2", 220, even as an outside linebacker type, you shouldn't be this good as a pass rusher, and he is just defeating all known stereotypes right now. Again, you talk about Pete Golding, Ole Miss, the defense, the wonders they work. One of the most technically gifted players you'll find because he has to be technically gifted at his size, and his output is amazing given his build. But he's quite rightfully on this list. He is one of those exceptions to the rule.
yeah. I mean, and now going forward, yeah, he's a linebacker. But I'm not going to take away from the fact he is the general of the defense. He has been by far one of the most important Rebels players in recent years. Like I say, he's got a good build, like I say, but he's shown a knack for blitzing. He's able to get through holes quickly. He's able to relay information to defenders quickly. He can call plays. He can diagnose coverages. He understands things at line of scrimmage. He's a very clicked-in player. He's clever. He's quick. He's got a good build. Like I say, he's a great finisher. He can haul ass when needs to be. And like I say, he punishes quarterbacks whenever he gets his hand on them. Very well all-rounded guy. Like I said, some people will see him at a different position, goes to pro, but as a purely college player, as Golden and Mountain DC, he will be relied on this year, probably more than he's ever been. He's going to have to be the DC on the field. He's by far probably the most experienced guy they're going to have with the helmet on. Like I say, he's going to have to line the guys up. He's going to have to relay all the information. It's going to be a huge year for him. I think he's got a bright future. Like I say, some defensive coordinators and coaching in the NFL will view him at different positions, but that's fine. He's proven that by now he can play all of them across the board. Inside backer, outside backer, edge rusher, stunting, blitzing. Can do a bit of all of it. He's incredibly well rounded. So at that point, I've got to give him a lot of respect going forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Son to Ryan Perkins, when the guys at that size produce like that, there is something special about them. If you can do it for a third year in a row, draft analysts are going to have well, there's going to be a right battle over him next year when it comes to RAS and all that sort of stuff. So that's the name to keep an eye on early in that regards. Moving up to number six.
Oh, we
Oh
have a
boy.
problem here. This is where
Oh
I
boy.
don't agree.
No, I don't either. It's the first of a pair. I agree with the order in which the pair are because this guy is not as good. But we've got Mateo Uangalele of Oregon. Again, all four of the Oregon defensive line are on these lists. 6'5", 272 pounds. People love the NFL prototype build about him. And from his 2024 season when he had 9 sacks, people thought last year was going to be the big one, but it was a disappointing year overall. Yes, he did get 52 quarterback pressures, which was up from 31, but just 6 sacks, and a third of those came against Montana State in week one. Make of that as you will. 38 of them were hurries, but 3 batted passes, 2 forced fumbles, and a pass breakup for him. 30 tackles, but sported a 32% missed tackle rate. He literally had 18 tackles solo and 14 missed tackles. That was a massive problem for him last year. And coming up against NFL caliber guys like Carter Smith at Indiana and co, he was really disappointing when the big games knocked around. But right, he is built off what he could be. It's the prototype. He is insanely athletic, and when he's on form, hell, he is one of the most disruptive edge rushers in all of college football. But he didn't take the step forward last year you wanted to see. Struggled against NFL opponents, and you cannot be missing 32% of your tackles. It shows sloppy technique. When you're too athletic, sometimes you overshoot a little bit. You've got to get a lot more locked in this year. The potential is there for him to be there, but right now, for me, he's not shown what he should with the tools he has.
Yeah. Like I said, where was he in the playoffs this year? The buddy went missing in the biggest games and needed the most. He just was left wanting. Like I said, padded his stats against some of the lesser opposition. And like I say, when he was really called upon, he was nowhere to be seen. I take great issue with him at number 6. Like I say, great player. Very much feels like a Lions edge rusher because he can set the edge and great against the run, but lacks the consistency for me as a general pass rusher. I say I know he can set the edge, I know he can do the good stuff, he can bounce guys inside, but as a guy that's athletic enough to get to the quarterback, bring him down and make those splash plays, I don't know. That's where I lose a bit on this year. This year, like I said, we hopefully see the best of him. We see him return. He's going to have to take that big role on the D line. He's going to have to, and all eyes will be on him going into potential draft year. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does this year with a lot of spotlight and eyes on him.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs to rebound for sure. Matteo Uangalele is at 6, and at number 5 is his running mate, and the guy I prefer a lot more than him, Tatum Tuioti, also back for his senior year. Pretty much this entire offensive line, they're all seniors, if I remember rightly. But Tuioti had one hell of a year. He only had 38 quarterback pressures, 14 less than what Mateo did, but 11 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, rolled that up with 2 forced fumbles, 6 battered passes at the line of scrimmage. Right, I love him. He's 6'3", 263. This kid's a buzzsaw. It just feels like wherever the ball is, he is. Whether he's sacking the quarterback, whether he's getting in the passing lane, whether he's setting the run. I absolutely love him. To have played so well last year and all round just showed a better skill set than his more athletically gifted partner. But Tuioti, I think, is he's probably the underrated one of these two. I know he's higher on this list, but in general circles, probably people don't appreciate him as much. But I love everything about Tatum Tuioti. He just screams buzzsaw and will give you 900% every game.
Yeah, like you say, he's not the flashy household name. He's not the one that's got the bloodline like Uigalele, but 100% on, like say, 89% of snaps a game. He's always available. He'll bounce around. You can shift him up and down where needs be, and you'll still get a consistent level of performance out of him. I'd say he's pass rusher. I say a run defender. He's a guy that could potentially play a lot of downs at the next level and could be consistent. You could leave him out there on an island for most players, and you know you're going to get a good, consistent level of play of him this year. So this year, he's the guy I'm looking at this year to be like, I need you to take the lion's share. He's got to take the brunt of that defensive lines. I mean, that Oregon defensive front. I need him to lead from the front. Like I said, the troops behind them are going to look to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to be the standout this year, but that entire line could eat given how experienced they are. They're going to do a lot of damage this year, providing they all stay healthy. It'd be like Texas Tech's line last year. It's just going to be very difficult to do anything against it. If Oregon can't do it this year, I don't know when they're ever going to do it with all that talent they've got on that team. Moving into the top four. At number 4, we've got the breakout redshirt junior from last year, John Henry Daly, and he's the first of 3 transfers as well. Sorry, he is the third of 3 transfers we've had on here. He's playing for Michigan this year, one of Kyle Whittingham's disciples who has moved from Utah to Michigan and hadn't done anything this time last year in college football. Started off at BYU, then he jumped Holy War lines to Utah. Didn't do anything his first year, but last year broke out in the biggest possible way. 513 snaps he had, graded at 92, and it's based on his pass rush. 51 pressures, 10 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, and 32 hurries. Couple of forced fumbles in there as well. 35 tackles, a battered pass. He is what Utah loves to make, right, which is just completely destructive defensive line players. And they lost a lot on that line to the draft the other year. He stepped up and became the guy. It's a 1 year sample size, and he did fall off a little towards the end of the year. No sacks in his last 4, but obviously a long-term project from Kyle Whittingham. He's going to Michigan, which, love him or hate him, they've had great success with their defensive linemen in recent years. He will be the crown jewel on that line for them, the guy they need to perform this year. But if he does anything like he did last year, the run defense is pretty good as well. Him and his 6'4", 255-pound frame could make a big name for themselves this year.
Yeah, I get the transfer. It makes sense for him. Like I say, with Utah, had a fantastic year. He's come from a pipeline, like I say, great defensives. The Utes in recent years have been. They started every year's dark horses, proved that they're a strong, reliable product. Like I said, a fantastic year, especially getting after the quarterback. Great pass rusher, and then, like I say, making the move to Michigan makes sense because it's going to put him in front of so many more NFL eyes. Like I say, it's become a. I mean, it's a bit of a pipeline, isn't it? The Wolverines, the NFL, especially on the defensive line. Kenneth Grant, Ian Hutchinson. Like I say, guys like that, I say, were those guys that have got the knack for moving up the middle. So I can't blame them at all for the transfer. Like I said, the Utes will definitely worth off. But yeah, I think he's going to have a great year. He's proved, like I say, he's big, He's physical, he's stout, gets after the quarterback, good finishing skill, but also doesn't neglect his run grade duties where, like say, Utah relied on him heavily to set the edge, bounce plays back inside, those tackles for loss, which could nullify early run plays. He's going to bring all of that win to Wolverines. I don't expect any drop up at all, and there'll be a big reliance say on the Wolverines for a big bounce back year. This guy's going to lead from the front in what's going to be an integral year going forward, and he should head straight to the draft. He should head straight to, like I say, eligibility. After he's got a good year in yellow and blue, then he'll make a big name for himself going forward.
Yeah, and he's an older prospect because obviously he's done his
Like,
mission.
uh,
I think he's like 24 already or 23. He's going to be 24 this year and just 1 year as a starter, so he's got to make his mark quick because time is not on his side. Moving into the top three. And we've got Dylan Stewart of South Carolina in 2024. The true freshman took college football by storm. 51 pressures, 7 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, an absolute freak when it came to the pass rush ability. The sophomore year maybe disappointed a little bit, like a lot of that South Carolina team did last year, but still managed 37 pressures, 5 sacks, 5 hits. But most importantly, I guess for a lot of pass rushers, first year you break out as a pass rusher, that run defense has got to get better, and that grade jumped from 62 to 80. He was a lot better against the run last year, while the pass rush was still pretty good over his first 2 years. 88 pressures and 12 sacks is nothing to sniff at. He is 6'5", 245 pounds. He is an athletic freak. Only Colin Simmons has more pressures than him since 2024, and he is not been mentioned yet, and he's on there. Obviously, maybe not what we expected from him last year in terms of going to superstar, but he took that critical jump in run defense right. We know he's a good pass rusher. Now he's shown he can do it against the run. Now he's got to do both at once, and if he does both at once, this is a future top 10 pick in a draft, maybe next year.
I mean, a lot of Gamecocks disappointed last year. I felt like their
Mm.
whole program, like say, they were all like dragged behind. Dylan Stewart is still by far the highest profile prospect they've got right now. Like you say, he's got the frame, the build, the pedigree coming out of high school, the pass rush ability. Like I say, he's had a fantastic season. He is a he's a home run kind of guy that can make big plays. He can force the fumbles. He's a turnover waiting to happen. Quarterback's worst nightmare. Just needs to put it together. Like I say, he's got everything he needs right now. This year needs to make his mark on the SEC in a big way. In the big games, he's got to get after the big QBs. Don't just feed on the smaller SEC schools, those big games where whether they're winning or not, like I say, he needs to make his impact on that mark. But I'm with you, a big time NFL prospect. He's got the pedigree, the talent, the physical tools. He can put it all together. I think this year it comes together for him, whether or not South Carolina is good or not. He needs to be good, whether the team is bad or good. Can't just rely on that good war, that good feeling. He's going to have to make it happen on his own.
Yeah,
It's a big
absolutely.
help as well. Like you say, whether the team's doing good or bad, those two players on the outside of the ball will be integral to how the fans, like I say, how the season goes.
Yeah, he will indeed. Dylan Stewart going to be a big part of that Gamecocks team this year. And if the team bounces back and he does, he's going to get a lot of draft love this time next year. And then going into the top two, number two, the most journeyed of them all. This is a journey which saw him start off in the services, go down into JUCO before making his way to the group of five, before making his way to the power four. And it's been a journey and a half for Clev Lubin of Louisville. Started off with the Army Black Knights, then went down to Iowa Western in JUCO, moved up to
Reavers, that's
Coast.
JUCO, isn't it?
Sorry,
The Reavers, isn't it? That's
yeah,
JUCO.
that's
That's
JUCO.
a long stake, long way round.
It is. And then Coastal Carolina in 24, and then he went to Louisville last year in 25, but one thing he has been devastating. These last 2 years at Coastal Carolina and Louisville, 110 quarterback pressures, 21 sacks, 22 quarterback hits, 5 battered passes, 7 forced fumbles, 80 tackles, pass breakup as well. Wherever he's gone, this man has been a menace. He has graded in his pass rush at over 92 in the previous 2 years. It is the best grade of any returning edge defender. His 110 pressures over the last 2 years are more than anybody else. And his pass rush win rate last year with Louisville was 24%. That was the highest in the Power Four of any edge rusher whatsoever. He is 6'3", 250 pounds. He is a good build. He's done it the hard way, Rye. He's started at the bottom. He's worked his way from level to level to level and has just dominated at every stop and had his best year of all last year at Louisville. 24% as a pass rush win rate is insane. He's got everything he needs. Another breakout with this Louisville team this year. I mean, he's going to put up some crazy numbers. The run defense is good enough. Like he's made an opportunity out of nothing.
I mean, yeah, respect to him for like say going from like say FBS down to like practically D2 with the Reavers, having a fantastic year coming back up. He's learned the systems, he's learned the trade, he's learned, like I said, respect for the game. It's probably humbled him quite a bit. He's come back up, had a fantastic year last 2 years. Like I said, in general, getting pressure on the quarterback, turn that into sacks. Louisville's done very well in recent years with, like I say, Ashton Jalott, sent him as a fantastic pass rusher, sack artist, the NFL. This guy's building that mold very well. He's got a chance to follow in his footsteps, put together a good, fantastic year. He's able to generate those pressures, get them into sacks, bring down the quarterback where possible. Shown that he's, like I say, good at setting the edge, got a good win rate on the in the run game, a well-rounded defender, and that he should be someone considered to a potential good, like I say, uh, late day one, late early two draft picks. So the potential, the sky is the limit for this guy. He's been around the block. He's done it right now. He's a bit older, but I don't mind that when it comes to defensive line prospects, especially when they're very well rounded.
Yeah, indeed. I love his story, and if he carries on doing what he's doing, he's going to get a lot of love when the draft comes around next year. And it is a stacked draft class next year, so keep an eye out for him. Flying completely under the radar is Clev Lubin at number 2 from Louisville, and then at number 1 for the second year in a row. Not many people manage this. He's the first edge who ever has been ranked number 1 2 years consecutive out of Texas. It is Colin Simmons. No player, no edge rusher has been more valuable to their team than Simmons has this last 2 years by the WAR metric. He's second in returning pressures during that span. He's got 105. Only Clev Lubin has more than him. He grades a smidge under 80 against the run over his career, but the 6'3", 240-pounder is just known for his pass rushing. 105 pressures, 19 sacks, 29 quarterback hits, 6 forced fumbles, 80 tackles, interception in there as well. I mean, he was wonderful as a true freshman, Rye. He was really good as a true sophomore. He's going into his true junior year. Probably not going to see a year 4. Texas have stacked that team this year, specifically their offense. I think that defense kind of got a bit hammered last year because Arch was shite for so long. But with the amount they've invested in it, they should be on the field a little less. He should be able to be a bit more effective. But there's no doubt on his day, like this is a top 3 pick in any NFL draft if he carries on the way that he is.
Yeah, like I say, got insane build. The frame is just it's action man. It's small soldiers. It's off a production line. Like I say, he's tall, he's long, he's physical, he's got big hands. Like I say, he gets the outside edge. He's fast, he's quick. He uses everything that I say has been given to him physically. But I say he's also smart, diagnoses players quickly. He comes downhill, gets into the backfield for those, like I say, those outside players that try to trick him gets the tackles for loss. And when he's got the gifted the opportunity to, like say, be 101 or size per quarterback pursuit, hauls ass, does a great job of getting it down. And I'm here, like I say, a future top five, top 10 pick in the next class. Like I say, he's going to be a real force to reckon with on the defensive line that's losing Anthony Hill Jr., one of their guys that was able to get after the quarterback persistently. There's going to be a lot of onus put on this man right now. There's a lot of pressure on the Longhorns this year. He will feel that. Like I say, I'm hoping he grows to the challenge and he says one of the best defensive ends in all of football right now. So yeah, the opportunity for him is absolutely massive on a team that needs him to, like I say, produce his best football that he's got in his locker right now this year.
Yeah, like this next year's draft honestly has the it could be insane. It could be one of the best ever. That's how good it could be, and he might be one of them. So Colin Simmons, for the second year in a row, is your number one returning edge. So just back through again, Boubacar Traore of Notre Dame was the honorable mention. 10 through 1, you've got Prince Walum Malin from LSU, Damon Wilson from Miami, Will Held from Clemson, Suntaran Perkins from Ole Miss, Mateo Uangalele and Tatum Tuioti of Oregon, John Henry Daly of Michigan, Dylan Stewart of South Carolina, Clev Lubin of Louisville, and Colin Simmons of Texas. I mean, just overall, could be better than this year's edge class. I know we love this year's edge class, but it has the potential to pale in significance to what this one could be.
Yeah, like I say, there's a lot of potential talent here for guys that are great pass rushers, but also stout in the run game. Like I say, got some in between a build, you've got a bit of mix. Like I say, and it could be another heavy defensive draft in 2027, what we're looking at right now.
It could be indeed. Right. That is everything in terms of the returners for next year. That's the D tackles and the D ends. Next time out, we'll take a look at the offensive line, the counterparts on the other side there, and then it's just the linebackers, the corners, and the safeties. But of course, we've got all summer to go over some of this stuff as well. Right. Finishing it off for us. Last time we were on, we set ourselves a challenge where we had to come up with some all-star teams, and how we did it, we've got a full team, offense of 11 or 12, and defense of 12, I think it is. And we span a wheel of random college football teams for each position, and we had to try and put together the best team imaginable out of the picks that we got. And by the positions that we got. And needless to say, Ryan was probably the happiest of the two of us when that was said and done. But we've gone away, we've had a little think about it, and we kind of wanted to do it because we want to explore college football history as well. There are some names in here you'll think, oh, I don't know they came from that school or all that bit. So, we want to take a look back in the past as well. It's just a fun little thing to finish off. So we are going to move into that, and I will put it up on the screen, hopefully, so people can play along here at home. Or where are we? Share. We are on here. Make sure I've got nothing that's too revealing at home. No dodgy internet links up or anything like that. Hopefully, you can see this list here at this point. So as you can see, we've got our teams, our positions there, and the team, our positions and the teams that we would had to that we had to draft from. So we'll see what time we're on. We're on about an hour and a half. We'll go through the offense first, and if we run out of time, we'll finish with the defense next week and leave you all on tenterhooks. But we're starting with the quarterbacks, and I'm probably going to lose this one, but my quarterback I had to get from UConn, and really, there was only one option I had from this school because they've only ever had one quarterback drafted to this point, unless Joe Fagnano in a couple of weeks gets it done, and you, as Lions fans, will know him. But my quarterback is Dan Orlovsky, UConn's all-time leading passer, the only quarterback ever drafted out of the franchise. He holds the school record for pass completions, pass attempts, passing yards, passing touchdowns, also interceptions as well. 10,706 yards altogether and 84 passing touchdowns. Regardless of what you think about him at the NFL level with Detroit and everything, he was actually a bloody good quarterback in college made UConn relevant in the Big Sky at the time because the team was kind of down in the dumps. And as a collegiate quarterback, he was incredibly impressive. So, I'm going to take my wins with that one as and when I can. But yeah, Dan Orlovsky is my quarterback here. Ryan got Colorado. So who made your team? And I believe you've done it from the 2000s, am I thinking? You've kind of
Yeah,
structured
I've
yours
tried
a
to
bit
go nearly
different.
all college football relevance and strictly 2000s. Otherwise, I'd have had an all-star team if I'd included the 90s. So I thought I'll keep it relevant.
Okay, so basically he says his team's good enough to beat me and he can miss out half the players on there. So Colorado quarterback, who have you got?
So I've got Sefo Louis Fau. Now
Oh
this
God, you're gonna have to
guy,
spell this for me.
Sefo
Yeah.
Liufau. Now
Oh,
he
as in
took
like Maris Louifau.
Yeah. Now, this guy led Colorado to 10-4 record in 2016. He left college in Colorado with 90 personal records. He had the most touchdowns of all time in 60. Let's say he had the most passing yards, I believe, in school history of 9,700. And he was the Polynesian College Football Player of the Year in 2016. He was by far one of the best quarterbacks the school's ever had, and one of the best quarterbacks in recent memories since 2000s that the Pac-12 has ever had as well. He started 39 of his 41 games, which I believe was the score record at the time as well. So yeah, a true legend of the Buffalo's history.
Wow, so we've got nearly 20,000 passing yards between the two of us
That's
there.
quite
We've
hard
not
to
done
pick
too
from.
bad.
Both of them in their school right are legends in their own right.
We've not done too bad there. I love that. Sefao Luifao. Is he like related to Marist or like that's not a very common
Could
last
be, because
name.
he's only in his 30s, so it could be, yeah.
Could be a very younger brother. We'll have to have a look at that. But so yeah, I've got Dan Orlovsky. You've got Sefo Luifao. Right, we're going to move on to the running backs next, and we've got two. So we'll snake this, and I'm going to start mine. So my first running back I got from Purdue, and I've kind of done mine a little. I've not taken liberties, but I've got one proper running back, and I've got one running back, but he was known for his return abilities. And Detroit Lions fans will know this kid from Purdue very well. I have Mel Gray, one of the greatest returners of all time. 13,003 return yards in the NFL, nine return touchdowns. He was a six-time first team All Pro. He was a two-time second team All Pro. He was a four-time Pro Bowler. He was in two separate 1990s All Decade team. He is in the Detroit Lions All-Time team. He holds pretty much every record in the Detroit Lions return records history book. He is one of the greatest to do it. He was a decent running back as well, but he kind of held his own behind Barry and did his work there. But I mean, I've got one of the greatest returners of all time in my team with Mel Gray. I am more than happy with that out of Purdue. I think the only other option I had Mike Pruitt as well, but I've just got one of the best returners ever in the game for me. So I think that's a pretty good one. So that is my first guy. Ryan's first one was from Baylor. So who have you got as your Baylor running back?
I've got Shock Linwood. Cool name. Like I say, first big team All 12, big All 12 in 2014, second team All Big 12 in 2015. The guy finished with 4,000 career yards, 36 touchdowns, and 713 carries. The guy was part of one of the best Baylor teams of prospect. Like I say, Big 12 championship games, like I say, made his impact. Like I say, went on to have going forward, had a professional career. Like I say, would be UDFA, but Rashad Rick Shockley Wood was a Baylor legend who played all 4 years from 2020 to 2012, 2016, like I say, through 2013, was a huge impact and had a huge career year for the Baylor Bears. Like I say, one of the best running backs in recent history.
There we go. So Ryan's got Shock Linwood there out of Baylor. My second one was from Texas Tech, and I'm going to go probably the most recent history player here because the pickings are slim. I have Taj Brooks. He has only come up to the NFL last year, 1 year with the Bengals. Not really done much in the NFL so far, but he is the all-time leading rusher for the Red Raiders. 4,560 rushing yards, including two 1,500-yard seasons to end his career there. He is one of the best running backs out of the Big 12 in recent years, given the amount of talent that's come out of the Big 12 as well. That is something to say. Again, he's not made his mark on the NFL just yet, but he is a dominant thumper at running back. He's one of these 5'9", 210 guys. They're a little shorter, but they are muscly, they're bulky, and they just get the job done. So between Taj Brooks and Mel Gray, I've got a home run hitter and I've got one of the best returners going. I'm quite happy with my running back room there. So Taj Brooks, the running back out of Texas Tech, and Ryan's second one is out of East Carolina. So who did we find from East Carolina at running back, Ryan?
I'm sorry, but I win. I have Chris Johnson. I have CJ2K.
He's
So
from East
I've got,
Carolina.
yeah, all 4 years at East Carolina. In 2007, he had 1,423 rushing yards and 17 touchdowns. And he would go on to, like I say, have an incredible year in the NFL as a pro, where he'd win Offensive Player in the Year 2009, first team All Pro in 2009, three Pro Bowls. He had the 2,000 rushing yard, 2009 rushing yard leader. Like I say, went on to have an incredible career after 4 years at ECU, which were very good, and then had, like I say, a short, brief stint where he's one of the best players in the NFL as well. I had no idea he came from the Pirates either.
I didn't either. I thought I for sure have got you with that one. I thought, no, there's no way possible. But oh, that's some good players we've got there. We've got some good running back rooms. I love that. So Chris Johnson from you from East Carolina. Next up, we've got three receivers. So we're going to snake our receivers again. And I'm starting this off, and I've got Maryland as my first go out. And actually, this was not the worst one in the world. Maryland has been a pretty decent factory of some guys over. You've got guys like Jermaine Lewis, who was a great returner and that, but he may be a pain in the arse for some, and he may not be the best locker room fit in the world, and you may need to keep him away from your daughters and wives and everything like that, but you can't deny how good a receiver he has been for his career. I've got Stephon Diggs here out of Maryland, second all time in receiving yards for the Terrapins, despite the fact that he played just 2.5 seasons there, and that was a full season as a true freshman as well. But at the NFL level, 11,500 yards, 942 receptions, 74 touchdowns. He's been a first team All Pro, second team All Pro. He's been to four straight Pro Bowls. He was the reception and yards leader in 2020. Love him or hate him, Stephon Diggs has been a model of consistency ever since he hit the field as a Terrapin as a true freshman years ago. He'll go over 1,000 receptions, probably another few thousand yards in him there as well. He's going to have a low-key outside chance at the Hall of Fame. I'm really happy with having Stephon Diggs as my first receiver there, so I am flying high with him. Ryan, this was going to be the tougher one for you. You've got all the U's. Starting with UTEP, who do we have out of UTEP?
So I've got Chris Adams. So he had a 6 year NFL stint between the NFL and the CFL. He had, like say, 2,600 receiving yards at UTEP between 2007 and 2010. He had 30 receiving touchdowns. He played in double-digit games every season. He was an incredible part of their offense. Went on to have a bit part as a special team as a roller. He played throughout the NFL for, like say, 5 years. Would finish in the Winnipeg with the CFL. Like I say, it was a good part of their big school offense. Did really good job, but yeah, just couldn't crack it as a pro and stay in the off roster. Bounced around a couple of times, but 6'3", 200 pounds, did go on to have a good potential pro career. And like I say, was very good in the NFL. Like I say, moving forward as a special teamer.
There we go. So we got Chris Adams out of UTEP. Next up, I got Rutgers, and I would rather have been asked this in about 5 years' time because Rutgers have got some damn good receivers right now, but their history is not too bad either. They did have Mohamed Sanu as part of theirs, but he kind of flamed out. But the guy I've eventually gone for is Kenny Britt. I should probably put the name up on there so people can see it.
Oh, Titans receiver.
Yeah, so Kenny Britt, Scarlet Knight, so he is their leading receiver in history with 3,043 receiving yards. He was a first round pick, bounced around a couple of teams, ended up with over 5,000 yards in the NFL and 32 touchdowns. He was known as like a lethal deep threat. Like his average was up at 18 at one point in his career. Injuries just kind of hampered things a little bit and kept him in check, and eventually the injuries forced him into retirement. But 5,000 NFL yards, 32 touchdowns is not bad. It was a little more than Mohamed Sanu did, a little bit more impactful, but that might improve in recent years. But I've got Kenny Britt as my second wide receiver there out of Rutgers. I don't think that's a bad compliment to Stephon Diggs. I've got my sort of intricate route running guy, and I've got my deep threat guy there. So we're all good. And then Ryan gets USC, complete treasure trove. I wonder where he's gone.
Oh yeah, this made me happy. I've got Marquise Lee. I've got the former Baletnikov Award winner, unanimous All-American, NCAA reception leader, Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, and also would go on, like I say, have a stellar NFL career with the likes of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the San Francisco 49ers. Like I say, had a fantastic USC career, went on to put on incredible amount of stats. Also, I believe he tried out for the Olympics as a hurdler or a sprinter. I'm pretty
Think
sure
so. Yeah, you're right.
he went through warm-ups, but he didn't make it and never qualified. But as a sprinter and as a hurdler, an incredible athlete. But he went on, like you say, he's still active now, I believe, to this day. Like I said, I don't know if he's on a roster, but he's still, like I say, through, like I say, 2013, 14, to this day, he's still had a big part. Like you say, he's battled through the loss, like I say, he's had family issues, personal issues, never elected family been a fantastic outlet. Like I say, he's had an incredible, like I say, professional career right now to this day and been an all-round dynamic, like I say, break the beats, takes the roof off your defense wide receiver.
There you go. It's a program that's just had so much good stuff come out of it. Obviously, the
I think I
Lions.
know who your player must be next. It has to be the best receiver in history.
No, it's not. It's
Oh,
it's it's not. He's not there. So we've got Arkansas State as my third receiver, and I know we were thinking about Corey Rucker, obviously just finishing his career there. But I went back in history and had a look, and he may be, when it comes all said and done, I don't know what Corey Rucker's NFL career is going to look like, but in 1990 there was a third round pick that went to Philadelphia who had a pretty good NFL career. We've got Fred Barnett. 5,500 career yards and 32 touchdowns for the Philadelphia Eagles in his time. He made the all rookie team in 1990 when he was drafted. 361 catches as a pro overall. He was a Pro Bowler a couple of times as well. I think he's second on Arkansas State's list now behind Corey Rucker. As an actual collegiate receiver, maybe Rucker was a little bit better, but Barnett has the production at the NFL level, which Rucker hasn't had a chance to do yet. So I did go away from the obvious one here. But yeah, I've got Fred Barnett as my third receiver. So Stephon Diggs. Kenny Britt, Fred Barnett, I've got over 20,000 receiving yards there and like 150 touchdowns. So I'm feeling pretty good about my trio, despite being given some hard assignments there. Um, and then when Ryan's back, because I've lost his camera at the moment, Ryan has USF, the South Florida Bulls, for his third receiver. Who did we get from there?
this one was a hard one, but I've got the slot receiver. I've got Sean Atkins. Now, this is a recent player. Might say 2024 All AAC third team on the 2024 Baletnikov preseason award list, 2023 All season AAC team. He was the first 1,000 yard receiver in USF Bulls history back in 2023. Like I say, he's like 5'10", 190, but the guy pretty much embodies everything they try to do. 200 career receptions, like I say, across like 5 years, 2,100 yards. He's been an integral piece of everything the Bulls want to do in recent years. Have declined to some sort of prominence going forward in the AAC. Great special teamer. Like I say, he's not managed to build that into a pro career, but he's a phenomenal career, like I say, college athlete, but very good student athlete, and put together some great numbers while working hard and maintaining his degree in recent years. So yeah, every year built on it very well. Like I say, more receptions, more receiving yards, and a long time 5, 6 year guy that's used every bit of eligibility and donated all of it to South Florida. So yeah, a long-term veteran that showed a lot of loyalty going forward.
There we go. So we have Sean Atkins out of South Florida. Moving on to the tight ends. Um, so I got UConn again. So I got two players from UConn, but I didn't land too badly here. So we have Brian Kozlowski from UConn. He was a 14-year NFL veteran from 1992 to 2006. He was primarily a blocking tight end in his NFL career, but 14 years shows the longevity. He was a damn good one. He was a good receiver in college, 159 catches for the Huskies, was fourth all time when he left there, but came up to the NFL. He was a loser in the 1999 Super Bowl, but he did make it to one, but he stayed with the 49ers for a while. But when you get to 14 years in the league, you've done a pretty good job. So Brian Kozlowski is my UConn tight end. There's probably not a lot of competition for that, but hey ho, there you go. Ryan, and this is one I've been intrigued about. Ryan got South Carolina for tight ends. Who is your tight end from South Carolina?
I've got a firmer fourth first round NFL draft pick. Hayden Hurst was taken 25th overall in 2018. The former Gamecock had 100 catches in his college career for the Gamecocks with 1,281 yards, but would go on to have a very successful college career. I believe he retired 2 years ago in 2024, but he would enter the league as a rookie in 2018, but then would go on to have 350, 570, 220, 415 yard seasons. He finished his NFL career after retiring with, like I say, 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns in an NFL career that would span over 6.5 years, which is very credible, like I say, from coming out of a school where he's a bit part receiver, had a good impact in the NFL, like I say, was a big part of an offense, like I say, that did very well in Baltimore and did very well as an Atlanta Falcon, finishing off, like I say, as a Charger, but like I say, always found some ways made an impact. So yeah, had a good career across 7 years in the NFL.
There we go. We got Hayden Hurst. I never knew he was a Gamecock. That is my thing for the day. That is why I like this, learning about all these. Right. Next up, we've got the offensive line. We've got five offensive linemen to
This is
choose
hard.
from. And I'm not going to lie. I did say if we could try and make a line of like guards and centers and tackles,
I
if
did
that
do
would be
that. Yeah,
great.
I picked a position.
Yeah, I might have cheated a little bit, but Ryan got a lot better defense than me, so I think I should be allowed to cheat in this case. But yeah, this is, and again, for anyone who's watching, this is in terms of you can pick players who either spent more than 1 year at their team before they were drafted or were recruited by their team. So as long as it's a recruit from the team in question or they played at least more than 1 year there before they were drafted, you're allowed to take players from it. So I'm getting the bad one out the way first because I got Liberty to start with, and this is a more recent one. He was a huge draft crush of mine, actually, and I've got Zalvea Gadlin, the do-it-all kind of guy for them. He was left guard, center, right tackle. I think it was the draft 2 years ago. He's knocking around the CFL at this moment in time, but he was one of the most dominant offensive linemen Liberty have had. He was their highest rated offensive line recruit up until last year. They've got the three highest rated offensive line recruits in their history in the last 2 years. So he's been notched down it, but he was every bit the high 3 star they wanted out of him. And as I say, played four different positions on the line, had a really good career with Liberty as they kind of dominated everything. Last year when they first moved to the CUS, they killed everybody. He was part of that line. So Yeah, not the flashiest, sexiest name in the world, and Liberty haven't been around forever. They've never had a drafted lineman, but Xavier Gadlin is as good as they get, so I start with him. Ryan's first one was Cal, and this is another one I'm interested in because nothing jumps off to me, but I think I could be really surprised here by who's come from Cal.
He should because he's a recent Hall of Famer.
Oh
Alex
shit.
Mack, the former Indianapolis Colts center, played 3 years for the Cal Golden Bears.
Which
A
one, sorry?
Alex Mack,
Oh,
the
he's a.
NFL center, yeah.
Oh no.
Three-time Pac-12 first team All-Selection between 2005 2008. Like I say, he's now an NFL Hall of Famer. He was taken 21st overall, 13 seasons in the NFL, seven Pro Bowls, and it was a three-time All-Pro honors. I didn't know until I looked at it, I had no idea it came from there yet. But one of the best 2010 centers of all time came from the Cal Golden Bears.
That is a pretty good start. I'm not gonna lie there. Cal coming up big for Rye with Alex Mack. Next, I've got Central Michigan, and this wasn't the guy I initially thought it was gonna be because they have a number one overall pick. Central Michigan do, but he didn't have the greatest of NFL careers. It was fine, not worthy of a number one NFL pick. But another first round pick of theirs who did have a good NFL career was Joe Staley, the San Francisco 49ers tackle, 13 years in the NFL, 181 NFL starts. He was a former first round pick. He was a three-time All Pro, six-time Pro Bowler. He was in the NFL All Decade team for the 2010s, one of the best run blocking, pass protecting tackles of his generation. He completely exceeded expectations out of the Chippewas, and just he was the reason why San Francisco didn't have a problem at left tackle for over a decade. And it was only until Trent Williams came on the scene that eventually he went into retirement. And Trent Williams hasn't been pretty bad since then, has he? But I was very impressed. I think Joe Staley is he's a fringe Hall of Famer, could be in there one day, but very happy to be able to get him on my team. So yeah, Central Michigan, Joe Staley, good on them. The two first round tackles from the Chippewas, they do things right there. Ryan's got TCU next, so a power school who is from your line and TCU.
I've got Halapoulivaati Vatai, the former Detroit Lion. I didn't know this. He played for the Texas Christian University. He started and played for right tackle among 2012 and 2015. And in 2015, he was part of the second offense in school history to produce 1,000 yard receiver and 1,000 yard receiver, 1,000 yard rusher. Like I say, he was all team second Big 12 in the 2015. Like I says, he was the second all team in 2014 as a junior and went on to have a very long NFL career between guard and tackle with the Eagles and the Detroit Lions and played right up to 2023.
Wow, I didn't actually know he played there either. I thought he was from Hawaii for some reason. Don't know why, but Halapoulivaati Vaitai there for right. So he's got a center and he's got a guard on the roster. Next up, I got Miami of Florida for my offensive line, and I was actually really disappointed by this. I thought they would have produced some generational players over the years, but the offensive line has not really been one of them so far. But I was able to come up with a member of their 2001 super team who did play in the league for a while and was decent for a good amount of time. I've got Bryant McKinney, another first round pick, 179 NFL games, so not much less than Staley. He was a Super Bowl champion in 2013 with the Baltimore Ravens, played every single snap of that Super Bowl winning season for them. He was a Pro Bowler in college. He didn't allow a single sack in his collegiate career when he was part of Miami. So he was part of that 2001 super team who many could have said could have gone on and beaten an NFL team, and they probably could have as well. He won the Outland Award for best linemen in the in college football that year as well. The career did tail off, and there was some attitude problems towards the end, and eventually he ended up getting kicked out of the league. But still, 179 games is a good career. He was wildly successful in college. First round pick, Super Bowl champion, protected the blind side in the NFL for many a year. So I don't think Bryant McKinney's too bad one to get out of that. So yeah, for me, Bryant McKinney from Miami of Florida next. Ryan's hard part of the line comes up because he's got three group of five teams. First off, we've got South Alabama. Who have we got from there?
What's funny is the other two were easy, but this one was a hard one. I've had to cheat here. I've had to go with a freshman that's incoming.
Okay.
I've got Cameron Thompson, the left guard, out of Savannah, Georgia. Now he's a three-star 24/7 recruit. He's played in the interior of his high school. Will enter this year at 6'3", 330 pounds, but has held offers from South Alabama, Texas A&M, and Georgia Tech, but has committed to, like I say, play for the South Alabama Jaguars this year. Will move forward as an offensive interior lineman going to his freshman this year. Highly regarded at high school, well built, and has got a good prospect, like the 130th, like say, prospect in the state of Florida this year. So hopefully he's able to make an impact and work his way into a starting lineup this year.
There we go. We've got Cameron Thompson out of South Alabama. I thought that might be hard, but yeah, there we go. Next up, I have Oklahoma State, and there were a few to pick from here. OK State's got a history, but one more in recent history who's been well, very successful. The first round pick. I've got Russell Okung, first round pick, 131 NFL games for him. He was a Super Bowl champion in 2014 with the Seattle Seahawks. Um, Two-time Pro Bowler whilst in the NFL. Again, another kind of tailed off towards the end when he went to the Panthers, but Super Bowl champion. Really good tackle for many years at Pro Bowl caliber. In college, 47 straight starts for the Cowboys. Went through both tackle positions there, but it was one of the longest runs in the team's history up till that point. He was dominant as a Cowboy, and he came up to the NFL and dominated as well. So I got Russell Okung there from Oklahoma State. Next up, Rye, you had Tulane. Who have you got from Tulane?
This is my first active player. So this player is actually still in the NFL right now. I've got John Wagner Legaloo. Now, this guy was at University of Tulane, 6'7", 310 pounds. He started 38 of 49 games in college, played nearly most of them at right guard, and was part of the offense that ranked number 5 in the nation after the AAC, like I say, going forward in the early 2020s. He has played for the Broncos for 2019 and was most recently signed off waivers by the Los Angeles Rams in 2025. Has played for a team in every single year. He's still active right now after being drafted. Like I say, had a long, like I say, 50-game college career where he played all against the offensive line. Was a strong guard. Like I said, a good career through Tulane. And right now, he's still active in the NFL right now. He's 6'7", 310 pounds, but he's still playing right now at the age of 29.
There we go. We got John Wagner Leglue of Tulane, and then finally finishing off here, I got Boston College, and I was so happy that I got Boston College. There was a plethora of players I could have had from here, but I went for the one that probably sticks out more than most. I got Anthony Costanzo, the Iron Man, 54 straight starts whilst he was at Boston College, completely dominant when it came to his college football career, and then he comes up to the NFL and has a 10-year career, despite being quite tall, he's like 6'8". Generally those guys struggle, but one of the best pass protectors of his generation started 144 of 160 possible games, over 10,000 career snaps, exceptional pass protector, one of the best you will find, one of the most underrated tackles in the league. People do not talk about him enough and the dominance he had in his entire career there. But when you think of guys who are underrated, Costanzo is the first name that comes to the core. And yeah, he's one of my favorite players ever. I love him. I would have loved for him to be a Lion, but yeah, I was very happy to get them because I got myself Costanzo. And then finishing off for you, Rye, we've got Nevada.
Possibly my best pick of so far. So, little bit known, left tackle for the Nevada Wolfpack between 2019 and 2013 was Joel Bitonio.
No
4 years,
way!
yep. 39 collective straight starts, all Mountain West 2013, has gone on to play, start 178 straight games in the NFL for the Cleveland Browns. As a two-time first team All-Pro and seven-time Pro Bowler and the All-Rookie team in 2013. Still active this day, former two-second round pick. Probably the best football player all time out of Nevada Wolfpack. Right now, like I say, is one of the best, most experienced veteran tackles in all of professional football.
I had no idea. I would never have said Joel Bitonio would have come from Nevada. I wouldn't have said I wouldn't have known where he comes from. He strikes me as being a Big Ten guard, but you know that's pretty decent, that is. So we've got some good lines. We've learnt some here. I mean, looking at that, I mean, I think yeah, we've got some pretty good
Frank
offenses
Mackay,
here.
Antonio, Staley, Okun, and Costanzo. That's our whole childhood. That's
Yeah,
veteran offensive linemen in the NFL.
yeah. And seeing their entire careers like between them, that's crazy. Bitonio back from there, so. We've done well. So my offense overall consists of Dan Orlovsky at quarterback, Mel Gray and Taj Brooks at running back, Stephon Diggs, Kenny Britt, and Fred Barnett at receiver. We've got Brian Kozlowski as a good blocking tight end. And then the offensive line is Zelvea Gadlin, Joe Staley, Bryant McKinney, Russell Okung, and Anthony Costanzo. Ryan's at quarterback. He's got Cepho Louifau. At running back, he's got Shock Linwood and Chris Johnson. You've got the best naming running backs ever, really. Uh, Receiver, he's got Chris Adams, Marquise Lee, Sean Atkins. At tight end, he's got Hayden Hurst. And then for offensive line, Alex Mack, Halapu Lavati Vaitai, Cameron Thompson, newcomer to college, John Wagner, Leglue, and Joel Bitonio. I think we've done pretty good
In
in the
high level take,
circumstances
my
there.
offensive line's better, but your receiving core.
Yeah,
uh,
I feel like the quarterbacks cancel each other out because they're both like 10,000 yards. I think they're both pretty decent. The running backs, you've probably got the advantage on me. But I've got the better returner. I've got the better receivers. You've got the better receiving tight end. I've got the better blocking tight end.
and we've
The
both
line,
got all pro offensive linemen. Like,
yeah, our offensive lines are pretty good. Obviously, I'd have to shift mine because I've got four tackles in there. But hey ho, it is what it is. I just, I couldn't find a center. I couldn't find a center out of any of them like was worth a damn. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just cheating and I'm taking tackles instead. Right, what are we at? We're at 210. So shall we save the defenses for next week, or do you want to get them done now? What do you reckon?
we can say them if you want.
Uh, I mean, yeah, okay.
I'll
We'll
do the
we'll
defensive front.
um. Hang on, what are we on? 210. I'm sure. Screw it. Let's get into them. Like we can do these. We'll go through and then we'll see where we're at. Maybe just go through them a little bit quicker. But where are we at? So defensive line. We've got two defensive ends, two defensive tackles, and my defensive line is old. Only the older amongst you will know most of these. But I'm starting off with Kansas defensive end, and I have to go back a very long way. For both my DNs, I've got to go back to 1969. And first, I've got John Zook. And I've done that wrong. Give me a minute there. So he was a 1969 fourth round pick, a 13-year veteran with the Falcons and the Cardinals. Played 144 games all together, 78 sacks, four interceptions, eight fumble recoveries. He was the first player in Atlanta Falcons history to register a safety. Interesting fact about him, he was also an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler, but by far statistically the best player to come out of Kansas as a defensive end, and there's not really anyone who can match up against him in recent history. So yeah, I've got to go back quite far. So John Zook out of Kansas. You got Virginia. Who have you got from Virginia?
I didn't realize at this time, but I've got a two-time Super Bowl champion in the 2010s. I've got Chris Long.
Oh
I've got the
no.
Wareham Man of the Year, two-time Super Bowl champion. I've got an all ACC guy. I've got a 70 sacks. Like I say, I've just got a plethora of records between 2015, 2010, and 2020. Like I said, I've got one of the best, like I say, ACC pass rushers of all time, potentially. Like I say, yeah, he's an absolute star.
Oh, I would not have thought that. Again, like, bloody hell, you've got me there. Right, my second defensive end, I'm also going back to 1969 again. So for those of you who were there, I've got Fred Dreyer. He was a first round pick in the 69 draft, a 12-year veteran. So my two guys have got 25 years between them, spent his time with the Giants and the Rams. He is in the San Diego State Hall of Fame. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He is a two-time Division Two college football national champion with SDSU when they were Division Two back then. Interesting fact, one of his teammates was Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed in Rocky. He went on to be an actor. But 104 career sacks for him. Again, an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. He was sack leader in the league in 1974, and he also set the record as being at the time the only player to ever register two safeties in one game. I believe that's been done once since then, but it's still a record he holds well. So I do have about 200 sacks and 25 years of experience between my two guys, but you got to go back into the 60s. Fred Dreyer is my guy from SDSU, and Ryan has Oklahoma State. Who have you got as defensive end from there?
This is my second player that's currently still active. I've got Emmanuel Ogba. Now, I've got, like I say, a two-time All Big 12 winner. I've got the Defensive Lineman of the Year in the Big 12. He's a Super Bowl champion. He had 11 career sacks in 2014 as the best defensive player in the Big 12. Still active right now, currently into a 9-year NFL career, a former second-round pick in 2016. Like I say, he's currently got 48 sacks in the NFL and 42 pass deflections and two NFL careers. Still on the Chiefs right now. Like I say, still only in his early 30s at the age of 32.
There we go. Emmanuel Ogba out of Oklahoma State. And moving on to defensive tackles. I got Utah. Now, this was not the treasure trove that I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd land a gold. I was sure there'd be a Hall of Famer from Utah as a D tackle in. We don't have one, but it turns out we have someone who Lions fans will know very well. I have got pass rushing Luther. That is defensive tackle Luther Ellis. Through as with Utah, three straight first team all WAC appearances for him. He was the WAC defensive player of the year, had 47 tackles for loss and 21 sacks while he was a Utah Ute. Drafted by Detroit with their first round pick in 1995, went on to have a 9-year NFL career with two Pro Bowl nods, had over 330 tackles and 30 sacks for the Lions. A very good, very consistent player for them. The best D tackle that Utah probably have ever produced. And he was very good for the Lions as well. He was just, I was expecting Hall of Famer out of this, and I didn't get one, so I was a little disappointed. But pass rushing Luther is my first one, and I am very happy with him overall. Ryan got Iowa, and I dread to think what this is going to be, but here we go.
Joe, interior DT, this is quite hard. I've got Jonathan Babineau. Now, the guy had a very respectable 11 NFL career seasons, every one of them with the Falcons, where he would log 27 sacks. Before that, he would be a all Big Ten team in 2004. Had a fantastic year. Like I say, had 19 sacks with Iowa, had 24 quarterback carries and 131 tackles in 4 years. Would go on to a nice long end to NFL career where he would retire after the 2016 career of the Atlanta Falcons.
And that's Babineau, and it's French, isn't it? I've just completely butchered that name. Jonathan Babineau. There we go. Right. My D tackle, my second one I got from SMU. And again, I got to go back in history. 1975 here. And we've got Louis Kelcher. He was a second round pick. He was a Southwestern Conference Defensive Player of the Year for SMU in 1974. He was a two-time first team All Southwestern Conference player. Spent 9 years in the NFL with the Chargers. Sorry, 9 years in the NFL altogether. Eight of them, the first eight were with the Chargers. He was an in the all rookie team for 1975. He was a Super Bowl champion in 1985, the one year he wasn't with the Chargers. But in that time, he was a two-time first team All Pro, two-time second team All Pro, a three-time Pro Bowler. He's in the Chargers Hall of Fame, had 116 NFL games altogether, and was known for being hugely explosive. He's 6'5", 300 pounds, a very destructive influence for the Chargers for many years at the beginning of their interior line. So Louis Kelcher is my defensive tackle from SMU, and Ryan ends up with Hawaii, and I think I might know who this one is, but we'll see.
This was like one of the hardest ones. So I've got Isaac Sopoaga. And
You're
it's
gonna
a
have to spell that for me. I know Isaac, but his last name.
Sopoaga.
Yeah. Okay.
So he spent the last 2 years of his college career at Hawaii after spending the first year at College of the Canyons, where he was dismissed for hitting an opposition player. But he would get 4 sacks, 128 tackles, and 15 stops at Hawaii. He would be drafted in the fourth round by the San Francisco 49ers, and that would be in 2005. He would spend 6 years there before being traded to the Falcons in Villa in 2013. He would end his career at New England in 2013. He would go on to spend 8 years in the NFL, where he'd pick up 140 games and 8 sacks after ending his time there, after one of the best Polynesian players in college, like I say, coming from American Samoa in the mid 2000s.
There we go. So that is Isaac Sopoaga from Hawaii. Next, we're going into the linebackers, and I really got screwed here. Got UAB for my first linebacker, and I've just had to stop sharing the screen a minute because I've got some notes up for these guys which I need to look at the same time. But coming out of UAB, my guy there is Marvin Burdett. He is statistical leader in most categories for the Blazers. Was there between 2009 2012. Career tackle leader for them, 406 tackles over the 4 years for them. Set their single season record with 157 and set the single game record as well. He had 24 tackles in a game against Tulane in 2012. But one of their most dominant linebackers going. He was 6'1", 230 pounds. Um, Blazer for them by name and by nature. Didn't go on to have an NFL career afterwards, but obviously with the Blazers were back down in the FCS at that time. But in terms of a collegiate career, one of the most dominant linebackers of his time. Um, but there's no one who's really come up to the NFL at linebacker from UAB. So I've got their overall team leader, Marvin Burdett. He is my first one there. Ryan, on the other hand, he got USC. So who have you got at USC for your linebacker?
My linebacker is Lofa Tatupu. Like I said, there's players I could have picked outside the 2000s, but I thought I'd stick with my current team. Like I say, he was a great draft pick for the Seattle Seahawks. Went on to have an incredible career. So he actually was a first team All Pro. He had 3 Pro Bowls, first team All American, first team All Pac-12. Was an absolute outstanding player. Like I say, All American at USC. Had 3 sacks, 4 fumbles. 18 selections, had 9 sacks after 2 games, would go on to have a great NFL career with the Seattle Seahawks, where he would go on to have 550 tackles, 8 sacks, and 10 interceptions, where he was a real difference maker in the middle of that Seattle defense, playing for, say, a total of going forward, had a good career of had five NFL careers, five NFL career seasons under his belt, where he'd be a big part of that team going forward after following Pete Carroll from, let's say, USC to Seattle.
There we go. So we have Lofa to Tupu as your first linebacker. My second linebacker, I got Arkansas State, not Delta heavy-handed, but my third player from the 1969 draft. God knows I've learned a lot about the 1969 draft this last few weeks, but I have Bill Burgee. So he played for Arkansas State back in the late 60s. He was picked second round, 31st overall by the Cincinnati Bengals. Had 4 years with the Bengals, then went on to have 6 years with the Eagles, had 12 years altogether. But he absolutely loaded up the stats while he was in the NFL. He was a two-time first team All-Pro in 1974 and 75. He was a three-time second team All-Pro consecutively between 76 and 78, so 5 straight years as an All-Pro, 5 Pro Bowls. He's in the Bengals' 50th anniversary team. He's in the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame and their Sports Hall of Fame as well. 27 interceptions, 21 fumble recoveries, 18 and a half sacks, hundreds of tackles for the team. Like he's known well more for his Eagles days. 6'4", 243 pounds. Absolute perfect build of what you want of a guy there. And yeah, he played under Paul Brown, the Hall of Fame coach. Just has a lot of accolades to his time. They're one of the best players that's ever come out of Arkansas State. But yeah, Bill Burgee is my second linebacker there. And then Ryan, next up, had Wake Forest for your second linebacker. Who have you got from Wake Forest?
Now, this was a surprise. I've got a player that was taken fourth overall in the 2009 NFL draft. I've got Aaron Curry, the former Seattle Seahawk. Now, this guy actually won the Butkus Award for the best defensive player in 2008, while also being the best first team All American and first team All ACC. This Wake Forest player, like I say, had Jim Schwartz at the time, defensive lines head coach, also say he's incredible Sam linebacker, like I say, which not a lot of guys can play anymore. He had an exclusive skill set. This guy was incredibly talented, came up through college, was taken fourth overall, went on to have a fantastic career with the Seattle Seahawks, where he'd played multiple years. He'd finished with 245 NFL career tackles, 5.5 sacks, and then would go on to currently be a linebackers coach last year for the New York Jets. So had a good playing career, has also been a coach for the last 6 years in the NFL as well.
There we go. So both your guys play for the Seahawks then. You've got Seahawks linebackers on the brain. My third linebacker, though, I eventually got a good one. I got Iowa, and I finally get to put a Hall of Famer into my team. Yes, we could put the one that's currently on the Lions right now, but they had a guy long before Jack Campbell who came up to the NFL and took it by storm. I've got Andre Tippett Sr., drafted in 1982, second round over 41st pick overall by the New England Patriots, where he would play for the Patriots for 11 years, appearing in 151 games, 100 sacks for the linebacker, 19 fumble recoveries, an interception, 2 defensive touchdowns. He is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is in the College Hall of Fame. At Iowa, he was a consensus All-American in 81. He was first team All-Big Ten in 81. He was second team All-Big Ten in 80. But with the Patriots, he went nuts. He was co-defensive player of the year in 1985. He was an All-Pro twice first team, All-Pro twice second team, went to 5 Pro Bowls. He's in the NFL 1980s All-Decade team. He's in the Patriots All 1980s team, all 1990s team, their 50th anniversary team. He is also in the New England Patriots Hall of Fame, one of the best linebackers to ever do it for them out of Iowa back there in 1982. But he is a Hall of Famer. Finally managed to hit a slam dunk with that one. We've got Andre Tippett. Hopefully in 10 years we can say Jack Campbell, but I'm very happy ending off my linebacker core with a Hall of Famer there. Ryan, got Arizona to finish off his. So did he by any chance find an Arizona linebacker who played for the Seahawks?
Of Seahawks, but I've got one of the best linebackers in modern college football history.
Oh God.
Scooby Wright III in 2014 won the Bronco Nagurski, the Lombardi, and the Bednarik. One of the only players in college football history to ever do that, the Triple Crown. He had 164 tackles, 31 tackles for loss, 14 sacks, and six forced fumbles. One of the greatest defensive college football seasons in history. Like I say, he was an absolute generational player, and he would also score a pick six interception in the 2022 UFL Championship for the Birmingham Stallions, where he won, like I say, a championship there. He would not have a strong NFL career, but he would go down in a team that also had a 10-2 Arizona season as one of the best college football defensive linemen, or like I say, players of all time. 24 season will go down in the history books as one of the best ever.
There we go. So Scooby Wright, the third there for Arizona. That's a pretty good linebacker core you've got there. I've had to put mine together a bit, but still pretty decent. And then we're finally just getting back to the D-backs, and then we are done again because I've got notes knocking round. I will share again in a little bit of a moment's time just to let you see where we're
Oh,
at.
did
But
did we have special teamers?
oh, we can forget that. I can put them out there. But
Come
anywho,
back there. I
I
forgot. This took like 2 weeks to do.
Yeah, so my first cornerback, I got Rutgers, and immediately I was delighted because I knew instantly who I was going to pick for this. And I just had one Patriots Hall of Famer. Well, I got another who got into the Patriots Hall of Fame as well. He was part of a brotherhood, but he was the better of the two brothers. I have Devin McCourty, and the McCourty brothers both went to Rutgers. Probably one of the best brother pairings ever, but he is a 12-year veteran from the New England Patriots. They picked him first round, 27th overall in 2010. He had 4 years at Rutgers, just 5'10", 195 pounds, but man, he hit big. He was dominant in the Big East for Rutgers, but he is a three-time Super Bowl champion, a three-time All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler. He is in the Patriots All Dynasty team, 971 tackles, 110 pass deflections, 35 interceptions, 11 forced fumbles, 7 fumble recoveries, 4 defensive touchdowns, 3 sacks as well, and a partridge in a pear tree. But he was absolutely dominant as a corner at Rutgers as well whilst he was there. But the Patriots got him, and he's just been one of the best Patriots players this entire century. You can't get more than you did with him. But I could have had either McCourty brother, but Devon was the one. I absolutely love that. So yeah, Devon McCourty, my first corner, more than happy. Ryan, you got Michigan first off with your corners. Who have you taken?
I could have gone down the obvious route, but I wanted an all 2000s team, so I neglected a Hall of Famer. Instead, I pivoted to Levert Hill, who is currently an active pro. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy, like I say, a two-time All Big Ten selection, All XFL team in 2023 with the St. Louis Battle Hawks that would go on to a championship game. This guy was an absolute standing. Like I say, he's an NFL career. He's doing incredibly well right now. Like I say, still active in around those summer leagues. Went on to be a great Michigan Wolverine, very own Detroit, Michigan from home. Like I say, has had a pro career from 2020, 2024 right now. Still there. One of the best Michigan corners in recent years. Like I say, a ball hawk, had 3 interceptions in his final year in college in 2020. Has gone on to have a very successful long career and has gone forward, like I say, right now, still an active professional, but one of the better defensive backs in recent modern Michigan Wolverines history.
There we go. Levert Hill for Ryan at corner from Michigan. And then my second corner was from Fresno State. And I had to go back in history a little bit again here, but I've got Marquez Pope, drafted in 1992, 33rd overall to the San Diego Chargers. He went through 5 teams altogether: Chargers, Rams, 49ers, Browns, and the Raiders. He is the only NFL player in history to play on all four California-based teams, at least when they were there. He also inspired the Marquez Pope rule, which states that a fumble recovered by a defensive player will be spotted at the spot of recovery, not where the player's momentum leads him. Because when he got one of his, he fumbled into the end zone. Should have, and they were going to give it as a touchdown, but they didn't. They overturned it. They created a rule over it. Anyhow, he's in the Polytechnic Hall of Fame. 556 tackles over his career, 19 interceptions, 9 forced fumbles at 5'11", 193 pounds out of Fresno. He had a nice little career for himself. Never settled at one team, went from spot to spot, but a very good starter level player for his career. And that's the best I'm going to get out of Fresno State. So Marquez Pope is my second corner. Ryan got Indiana, which who have we got out of Indiana at corner, Ryan?
It felt right to only go with the most recent player in memorable history. I've got D'Angelo Pons.
Yeah.
I've got, they say, the 5'9", 175 corner, current CFP national champion, first team All-American, two-time All Big Ten, second team All Sun Belt, Rose Bowl defensive player. Like I say, a boundary but also slot corner. Has been an incredible career in Indiana. Like I say, one of the best defenders that followed the coach from James Madison, where he's very good, to the Big Ten. He's made it his own, working inside out, and he's going forward. He's going to have a potentially lucrative NFL career going forward as a potential defensive back that moves all around the interior despite his size after a good combine. So yeah, it felt recently, I say, he's one of the best corners in the country right now, and he's going to be a very good active player in the NFL going forward.
Love that. Absolutely love that. So yeah, that is D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana. Then we go on to the safeties. My first
This is where I
safety,
shine.
I got Wake. Yeah, because of the teams you got. I had to try for this. So yeah, let's have less of that. But anywho, I got a pretty decent one for my first one. So out of Wake Forest, safety, Jesse Bates the
Oh,
third.
that's a great one.
It is a great one, isn't it? Drafted round two in 2018 from the Cincinnati Bengals, now in his ninth NFL season, 9,000 snaps in the league for him. Over 800 tackles, 163 run stops, 11 forced fumbles, 29 interceptions, 43 pass breakups. He's been one of the best coverage safeties in the league for a long time now. Run defense as well has always been his speciality. The 6'1", 200-pounder has been and continues to be one of the league's best. I am very happy with this. Jesse Bates the third is my first safety. So there we go. Ryan got Clemson. So yeah, let's see who have we got out of Clemson, right at safety.
So I've got Mike Hamlin, the former Clemson Tiger. Like I say, he would go on to have a couple of years in the NFL between the Jaguars and the Cowboys, a former fifth round pick going forward in the early 2000s. He would have a absolutely stellar college career, 300 career tackles, 14 career interceptions across 4 years, and a go on, like I say, have a coaching career as well. He would also be a strength and conditioning coach for the likes of the Buffalo Bills. He was a first team All ACC and second team All ACC while he was in college. And I would have a 3 year NFL stint between 2009 2012.
There we go. So you have Mike Hamlin to start off there. My second safety was from Michigan, and the amount of disappointment I had when I realized Charles Woodson was not a safety just for the end of his career. I was so looking forward to having him in this spot. I couldn't. He spent 13 years as a corner, so it felt disingenuous to put him in. So instead, I've had to go back in time, back to the 60s. I have Rick Volk, drafted in 1967, 45th overall in the second round, had a 12-year career with the Baltimore Colts, the New York Giants, and the Miami Dolphins. He was a Super Bowl champion in Super Bowl 10, NFL champion in 1968. He was an All Pro three times. He was a Pro Bowler three times. At Michigan, he was a first team All American. He was first team All Big Ten twice, second time All Big Ten once. 38 career interceptions for him with 600 career return yards from those interceptions. 150 games played in terms of safeties. One of the most tenured. There was 6'3", 195 pounds out of Ohio as well, which will make it even sweeter for Michigan fans. But yeah, he had a great career from start to finish. So I've got Jesse Bates current, and then we've got Rick Volk to do out the safety room there. And Ryan's second safety comes from TCU. Who have you got?
I'm sorry, this is where I clean house and I win. I've got Trayvon Moehrig. I have
Uh,
got the former Jim Thorpe winner, one of the best defensive back in the country. He left college with 7 interceptions, 21 passes defended, and 124 career tackles. At 27, he's one of the best young safeties in the NFL right now after signing a very lucrative extension with the Carolina Panthers. He's currently at 400 tackles, 6 sacks, and 7 interceptions right now as an integral piece of one of the best safeties right now in the NFL going forward, with a bright future ahead of him at 6'2" and 200 pounds.
there we go. Trayvon Moehrig. Damn, I forgot that he was there. But yeah, you're
It's
absolutely
just going
right.
to get worse, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. We've got a defensive back now, so it can be corner or safety, can work both. I got Bowling Green and Ryan got Alabama, so there you go. But anywho, my Bowling Green defensive back, I didn't do too bad to be fair. I've got Martin Bayless. Drafted in 1984, fourth round, 101 overall by the St. Louis Cardinals, but ended up having a very fruitful NFL career. Went for 13 years in the end. He was with the Cardinals, the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Redskins, back then when they were the Redskins, and the Chiefs, but ended up 800 career tackles, 11 and a half sacks, 12 interceptions from his defensive back spot, playing predominantly safety. Did play a little bit of corner as well, but he's now with the Orlando Storm in the UFL, doing his coaching in there. But pretty respectable NFL career, especially for a Bowling Green player. Could not find much more better than that. But 800 career tackles in the NFL is not bad. 12 interceptions to go with. So yeah, Martin Bayless is my DB. And now Ryan just has his choice of anyone the hell he wants. Which Alabama DB did we go with, Ryan?
Yep, I had a lot of choices, but I thought I'll just settle for the first team All Pro 5 times NFL Pro Bowl safety Minka Fitzpatrick. The 2-time national champion Chuck Bednarik, Jim Thorpe, unanimous All-American 9-year NFL veteran pro former first round All pick. I'll just leave it at that. Like I say, I'm not going to brag.
Oh, there we go.
I
So
pulled it back with the secondary.
you did. So, in terms of my defense, defensive ends, John Zook and Fred Dryer, both back from 1969. Pass rushing Luther at defensive tackle with Louis Kelcher. The linebackers are Marvin Burdett, Bill Burgee, and Andre Tippett. So I've got a Hall of Famer in there. Defensive backs, it's not too bad a backfield. Devin McCourty, Marquez Pope, Jesse Bates III, Rick Volk, and Martin Bayless. Ryan's defensive line is Chris Long, Emmanuel Ogba, Jonathan Babineau, and Isaac Sopoaga. Linebacker core of Lofa Tatupu, Aaron Curry, Scooby Wright the third, and then a defensive back room of Lavert Hill, D'Angelo Pons, Mike Hamlin, Trayvon Moehrig, and Minka Fitzpatrick. Let me just share that so everyone can see. As always, it's not to create who may be the best NFL team. It's just best team altogether, whether it's college, NFL. Ryan has done his from the 2000s. So if you're looking at some of these and going, oh my God, there's other more obvious guys in there. He's done his from the 2000s. I've done mine from all history. So, but overall, I got some good teams there. And I feel like I've learned a lot
If they
today.
played each other in their prime, it'd be very interesting to see how it got on.
It would, because we've both got decent quarterbacks. You've got a very good running back room, but I've got a better returner, so my special teams might be good. I think my receivers are better. But yeah, I think overall we've got quite an interesting concept. Those are the two teams in full there. So I don't know. I had quite fun here. Who was the most shocked player you have found out who played for somebody? Because, like, again, with these, you don't realize some of them. Who were you shocked to know who came from where?
Alex Mack. I had no idea it came from Cal, one of the best centers in, like, say, modern NFL history.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that with Cal, would you? I guess it's just one of those. Yeah, Jesse Bates was mine. I had no idea he was from Wake Forest. But I don't know. Devon McCourty, Jesse Bates as a backfield, that is not too bad. So those are the teams there. Obviously, this has been recorded, so if you're watching along, have a vote. Who do you think's the best team? Who do you think's gonna win? We'll do an overall roundup next week. We'll see where we're at. We'll do a poll and see who would win out of these two. But yeah, it's good fun. I think we'll do this again in future. Hopefully, we get some good. Hopefully, get some better picks for some of these as well. But when you've got to dig through the group of five, it's all good fun, right? And that is about everything from us today. It has been a bit of a long one, but we appreciate you all for sticking with us. Next show's coming up. Um, the main podcast will be back on Monday, doing draft prospects again. Myself and Ryan will be back next week. We've got 2 weeks to go, so probably top five lists next week. We'll get going to our top draft prospects list because we ain't got much time to go. Because then the week before the draft, we usually do our draft challenge thing, which is good fun. So top five lists with us, other bits as well. We will be back on the Wednesday. Hopefully, we're back to a regular schedule now. And then this will probably be the Q&A on Friday night. We'll probably precede this, but if not, there will be one this weekend. So thank you to everyone for joining. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Just remains for me to thank Ryan. You know where to find us. We're at the Lines UK, all that good stuff. We shall see you on the next one. One Pride worldwide. Take care.